But if they could win and then win well and give themselves some sort of buffer to protect against a charging Gold Coast, there's a few different strings to tonight. But the first is don't end up on the wrong end of it.
No, as Tim Membry breaks through that banner playing game number 200. So that's a fantastic achievement. Many of them, of course, with the St Kilda Football Club. But he's been a very nice pickup for them this year. How coming back into the side's really important. So interesting that Allen goes out. I can't quite make sense of that, but maybe they'll be able to explain it post-game. But Jeremy Howe into that back half shores them up, no question about that.
It does, and it allows others to play roles that they're better suited to play. They don't have to organise as much. He does most of that down back, and in particular the impact of having him back in terms of releasing Darcy Moore, I think, shouldn't be understated. But they've got to, they genuinely have to turn the corner of the Pies. You lose 5 out of the last 6, there's some serious problems.
Yeah.
So they've got to come here and get the job done before they think about anything else. When you are 10 points clear and then you lose 5 or 6, you lose confidence big time.
Brad Johnson has the Collingwood coach.
Oh, I do. He's just waving to the faithful that are in front of us as well. Plenty of energy in the stadium. Craig, what do you say to the players as they enter the ground for tonight's battle?
Oh, it's just always good to see a Magpie Army out here. They just come out 112,000 this year, Jono. Incredible. We love our Magpie Army. We just want to stay in the moment tonight. There's a lot of things we can't control, but we want to stay present to everything that we can.
Jeremy Howe back into the side. He'll allow that to happen. He's a very calm presence within the team.
Yeah, really important to us, Howe. He sort of played a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, got concussed and had high hopes of what that connection could look like. So, again, we get him back to bolster our back line.
Talk to us about Tim Membry quickly. 200 games tonight. Short time at the footy club, but big impact, I'm sure.
Yeah, we showed some footage of him playing for the Swans. He played one game for the Swans and got a message from Buddy Franklin, actually. No, it's really good to celebrate. 200 games is a huge achievement, and he's only been with us a short time, but he looks good in black and white.
What do you want to take away from Melbourne early in this game tonight?
We want to be good in the contest, and we'll apply a lot of pressure, and the way we move the ball is going to be important to that. And we want to defend the ground, so lots of things, but the way take a few things away from Melbourne early would be nice.
That's it. Well, it's a big setup game for you, Fly. We wish you all the best. Good luck.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, it's good to see you, mate.
You too.
Good on you, Jono. So 35-year-old Jeremy Howe is our Chemist Warehouse player in focus. He's had a wretched past month. They desperately need him.
Well, we spoke about his organisational value, but what we can't underestimate, Gaz, is the impact he actually has in beating his man, taking intercept marks, and actually playing a strong game himself.
Yeah, and then I look at Darcy Moore, who's I think is a much better player when Jeremy Howe's playing. Billy Frampton's role gets narrowed down even more, so his focus will be primarily on one player. And as you said, the Collingwood Footy Club function much better when Jeremy Howe's in the back half. Ironically started his career as a high-flying Melbourne forward. Now he's a premiership settling defender for the Magpies.
Chase 71 inside 50s last week for 8 goals. So you've been at work on the lack of efficiency in the Collingwood game, that connection up front.
Yeah, they have to find that synergy between ball use going forward and the ability to kick to the advantage of teammates. I've never seen a one-sided territory battle like last week that went the wrong way in terms of the final outcome. 71 to 37. That's extraordinary. I mean, if you got told they were the inside 50s, you say, they've won by 30 or 40 points minimum. But they didn't, and they wasted so many opportunities. Now, conditions were tough. It was greasy. It was a bit wet at times. The pressure, the heat was on, the crowd that was right into the game. But, they're going to get some greasy conditions tonight, and they've got to eradicate this. They've got to find a way to get some benefit. So the ground ball dominance inside their forward 50s disappeared a little bit, and the reward they were getting from all those tackles has disappeared. They've got to get that mojo back.
They did kick 5 goals in the first quarter, though, when they were moving the ball quickly and looking inside. And I think that'll be a template for them going forward tonight.
You've delved into the punishment factor and what was there early and it's not there now.
Yeah, no, they early on in the piece, early on in this season, they're as good as anyone at turning an intercept into a score. They're number 2 in the competition, and their clearances were also a great source of scoring for them, and they've dropped off, as has their game. I mean, most things have dropped off when you only win 5 out of 6. So they'll be looking to get that back again tonight against this Melbourne side. No question about that.
Brad Johnson and Eddie Betts down boundary side. Jono and Eddie, you've got the Pies pressure in focus.
Well, Jared, the coach has mentioned it as well a couple of minutes ago, and that is a big focus for them as a side, and it is for us in what they may do through the final series. A couple of weeks ago, Ed, they had poor pressure, especially inside their forward 50, the area of the ground that we certainly look closely But then last week they had a truckload of numbers, but didn't get the reward for it.
Yeah, so you can just see there, they only had the 3 forward 50 inside tackles, and then last week it was from the start. Let's see that. So not only just inside forward 50, it was all over the ground. Every time someone had the ball, they just pressured them, and that's what they have to do tonight. They have to get an early start, really dampen Melbourne's, hope of winning this game, because Melbourne will come out and they want to win this. But so Collingwood have to put that pressure on and bring that heat.
Exactly. It's a full dress rehearsal for what they need to produce in the first week of the finals. Pressure rating across the season, when they win 13-3, when they lose 2-4. So we know across the board, not only inside forward 50, but all over the ground, their pressure has to be at that elite level that they've shown throughout the home and away season. One play that we've loved watching throughout this season as well has been Jamie Elliott, the small forward for the Pies. He can take it in the air, he's good on the ground, he can kick them from anywhere, of course. A little bit down in form, Ed. So what have you seen from Jamie Elliott recently?
Well, I think though when Pies are going well, there was a period there where he kicked, I think, about 24 goals in 5 rounds, and so he just got to get back to movement, getting up the ground. Because like you said, he can take it in the air. He's number 5 in the competition for marks inside 50. So he can take it, grab it in there, and he's number 3 for 450 tackles in there. So he's just got to get back to that excitement, get that buzz, lead up, do the little things. Little things first, and the goals will come.
That's right. Contest to contest, guys. That's exactly what he's got to do. He just needs to get himself back to that rating of number 15 in the competition.
So Collingwood are perfect against bottom half teams. They're 10-0, like the Bulldogs and Adelaide as well. Those are the teams that they've largely feasted on. They've fallen to 5-7 against the teams that matter in the top end. But it is that 1 point thriller. Melbourne beat the Lions at the Gabba. They ran Collingwood to a point. They beat Fremantle. So they have troubled a few of the high-flying teams.
They have, and they can again tonight if their mindset's right. Gaz, you spoke about being aggressive, taking the game on, trying to take the initiative. Does that come at the expense of what they did last time with Ed Langdon doing a fantastic run-with job on Nick Dacos?
We'll keep an eye on that straight away, because I guess when they played in the middle of the year, the season's at a different stage. They may be looking at different things now for next year. I'm not sure. The value of putting Ed Langdon onto Nick Dacos is just reminding Nick that he's going to be there right from the start. Maybe they'll keep it up their sleeve if it gets out of hand. But I think they're going to be pretty aggressive, Melbourne. Why wouldn't you be?
But you can be aggressive and tag.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, what's wrong with taking the best player out of the game and backing the other 17 in an engaging, aggressive, attacking fashion?
No, nothing. And what I'd only say to that is they might be looking and saying, well, that's okay, but we want not at the expense of having Langford play in the centre square and spend some time through the middle. They'll work that out.
There's some history there, isn't there? The close one, as we saw, but all the way back to that qualifying final in 2023, which I think you probably tried to forget. Collingwood have won the last 4, but some close ones there as well.
They've won their 10 of the last 11 here at the MCG against Melbourne. Their record against the Demons has been superb. If you're trying to stretch them, and this is what I'll be looking at here, from a Collingwood point of view, is their back 6. I want to see them defensively, how they match up one-on-one, but also if Melbourne are prepared to test them at ground level. I think they're vulnerable at ground level and have for a long time, this Melbourne back half. Just the teams don't try and expose them.
We know how important the result is for Collingwood from a ladder perspective, a top 8, top 4 perspective. I think it's equally important, the result from a Melbourne perspective. The mindset, if you take from the last game, beating one of the best sides in the comp that have been all year, you take that into the break and then you come back to start pre-season with that positive frame of mind, it's a massive difference.
That was Max's response, wasn't it? That was the very first answer that he gave. It's not about us taking away Collingwood's ability to finish, as we see the toss of the coin.
Tails.
In memory attends.
It's a tail.
Game 200.
No worries, thanks, good luck.
Demons to kick the city in. And yeah, his point was exactly that. This is about us. And what did he say? He had a nice little catch cry, not hope.
Sell proof rather than hope in the pre-season.
Which is a nice catch cry to have. We'll find out pretty quickly just where their heads are at. Because, as you say, you look at this live ladder, you two boffins over that side of the partition here. You've been working, you've had your calculators out.
We're happy to help you out.
Beavering away all night. What's got to happen?
Don't quite have the arithmetic required, Gaz, but if we put it in simple terms, they've got about a 5 to 6 goal advantage on the Gold Coast in terms of percentage, because, without going into all the details, because their for and against aren't too far apart. It's about a 5 or 6 goals, but obviously the Suns play twice and the Pies play once, so they got one night to put up a number and see if the Suns can catch them, but they've got to win first and foremost.
As soon as the second game starts tonight, live ladder is for the Boffins.
we're in
You
the
watch those percentages spin.
We'll talk to the viewers, Gary.
We're in the best hands ever with you two Boffins there. I'll give you the tip right now. All right, let's have a look and see whether Ed Langdon goes to Nick Dacos. This is a very interesting first 5 or 10 minutes here.
He's going to start at half forward, Nick Dacos.
He's been picked up by Jake Bowie, so it'll all unfold.
All right, here we go at the MCG. Our last lap for the disappointing Demons. And where will the fast-falling Magpies start in the finals grid in September? We are about to find out. Two of the finest ruckmen in the caper, Gawn and Cameron, going in hard, sliding in hard. Viney, trousers only just stayed up under pressure from Long. Pendlebury getting it forward. McVie on hand, playing it out for Langford, and then through Viney. And eventually Bowie, who's been one of the real success stories this year. And so is this man, Cosy Pickett, you think, on his way to an All-Australian. Certainly part of the future, although that kick gave the Pies a good look, which they can't quite take. McVie sends some pretty deep milks. Maybe he's going to try and keep Howe occupied tonight rather than Moore. But he was outnumbered hopelessly on that occasion. And that's the beauty of Darcy Cameron.
That kick from Cosy Pickett tells you a fair bit about how Melbourne want to play.
Josh Dacos dominated the King's birthday encounter, bounces it to his brother, hands it off to Pendlebury, rolls out the barrel. Elliott from behind, ball loose at the back. They close at various angles. Membry gets an early look, couldn't gather. McDonald kept him at bay. McVie received, and Turner with a chance to clear the area. He scunges the kick up to Viney, hard to handle. Langford called upon, popped to open space. To go he couldn't, Viney could, knocked it on, and the D's will come out. Pickett uses it shorts. Going over, Fritsch opened the way for Howe to side bottom. Kick smothered on the way through, so Viney gets another look at a scrambling start.
Salem to Van Rooyen, who finished last week so strongly, which he needed to. Had 9 disposals and 2 goals in the last quarter. Look at that, there's that aggression again. He's to a pretty decent target in Gawn, doesn't mark. Uses Rivers though, McVie, Dacos, and the ball shoots out to Lipinski, subbed off late last week, doesn't take the shot down towards Elliott. Instead finds a middleman in Memory, the 200 gamer, which left Elliott all on his own, but he's now covered. And Myercheck is down in the goal square.
Hasn't taken long, but it does look like.
Someone forgot Ed Long.
Yeah, it does look like Ed Langdon is running with Nick Dacos.
Yeah, he's found him in the end. So you get a great indication of how Melbourne want to play. Cameron takes an intercept mark in the first 3 minutes. Second time they get a chance to go forward. Cameron's down the line and Max Gawn's sitting in the centre circle.
And it was the right option. It's just greasy conditions, which is going to make those marks difficult.
So Ned Long, he has had a sensational season, now a regular. Oh, he's going to pass it. In fact, that mark has been taken by Dacos further out than where Long took the mark originally. You know, he's not even a regular shot for goal either, Josh Dacos, these days as a defender. So it's like out as he might have planned.
Let off the hook there. The Demons fell asleep.
Well, they found the right target, which they weren't able to do last week. They just now have to convert.
Stephen May searching for the right kick. This one's for territory, close to the boundary. Cully's been a long inclusion in the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, the umpire's pointed the wrong way.
Made a block.
Yep. Okay, so it's Cully's ball. Supporters now realise and voice their lively approval.
He pointed the wrong way.
Yes.
He said Melbourne and pointed the wrong way.
Salem has Bowie, just found him. Could have rushed off, thought better of it.
So going down the line now with Cameron. So Darcy Cameron, the best interceptor in the game, down there behind the ball. It gets the Melbourne captain now.
Just to make it up on the spot, Bowie. It just wasn't where he hoped it was going to be. So Rivers on the bump. Lipinski closes on him. Gets his kick up the line, but not to any effect. And Josh Dacos has footy in hand.
Given we had some pre-match rain, guys, so they're going to keep taking those kicks. It's going to be interesting, isn't
and they're very good side that Collingwood are. They will wake up quickly to that.
Almost re-gifted back to Mayo at a horror first term last week, of course. Battered down by Perryman. Elliott thought Lipinski was in the right spot to get even more dangerous. Tracked all the way through to Nick Dacos, Viney and Rivers. Work in tandem. Try and reroute. Being pushed back by Lipinski. Affected the kick, but not to any negative effect. And Bowie joining on the spot. Short to Turner. Re-established himself as a defender as the season's gone on. Played the first couple of rounds in attack before getting back to more familiar environs. He bangs it up to the wing on that southern side. There was Frampton to keep company with Gore on that occasion. Tapped away Melksham, long, followed it. Josh Dacos, high ball, anyone's guess, anyone's hope. May, Schiltz, all there, Schiltz. First goal, Collingwood, Lockie Schiltz.
Big contest, jump ball. And it was the Pies that were quicker to react. Once the ball hit the deck, they had the smalls over the back. Lockie Schultz able to jump on that loose ball and kick the goal. And that's what they were doing early in the year. As soon as the ball hit the ground in the forward 50, they were all over it. They were nearly unbeatable at ground level. It's an old-fashioned mongrel punt coming in, and sometimes they're okay. See the D's all flying up in the air, and it was Schultz staying down, getting the loose ball.
There's a couple of efforts from Stephen May that he wouldn't mind revisiting. I mean, that's a mark you've got to take. If you're going to lead this defence, that's not good enough from Stephen May. Great ground ball, you're right, Jason. The ground ball game for Collingwood inside 450 and their pressures so critically important.
A couple of those random kicks that Collingwood put in last week that paid off also.
Gawn and Cameron back in the middle. Gawn eyeing an 8th All-Australian on Thursday nights. Nick Dacos gets a look, brushed his way clear. Shared with Pendlebury, so influential early last week, and Nick's got it again. So Dacos with a chance to pump them in deep. Elliott! Couldn't quite hang on. Salem and Cully. Mays in the horrors early. Christmas got him all round up. Embry didn't find a teammate. Cully intervenes. Pendlebury's got it back though. Collingwood to reset for a fresh look. Maynard puts it up. Marking practice. Myercheck, let it go through. Maynard has a handful of goals this year. He's bobbing up in attack at the right time.
This is a good side who puts pressure on, so if Melbourne want to try and possess the ball into dangerous areas, that man there has had a horrible start to the game, Stephen May, no question about that, but their ability, Collingwood's ability to put pressure on, this is a good
What about that lead?
That's a great jump. They can put pressure on and force Melbourne into panic disposals and turn the footy over in their front half and make them pay.
It's an interesting one, Stephen May. You mentioned before after that last effort that wasn't good enough. He dropped one before that, but I'm not even sure he tried to mark it. He's so worried about the greasy conditions, he kind of just parried the ball down in front when he should have marked the ball. And this time, he just grabbed at the ball too quickly, fumbled it. And as soon as you fumble, you're going to be under pressure.
Good start. 5 forward half turnovers already for the Pies. Magnificent.
Cameron and Gawn.
Umpire contact, free kick, Melbourne.
Melbourne free kick.
Umpire contact.
Next one. Umpire contact.
Must have been out of the centre square where it took place. It was just a brash little handoff. Salem, direct path to goal. Melksham and Penny's got it on the juggle.
She showed some quick hands to get the second grab. That was exciting. Just judged it a little bit better. That was extraordinary. Quaynor took front position, but have a look at the second grab, how quick he is with the hands. Bang. That is good.
Played his 100th last week. He's kicked multiples in each of the last 3 games. He's up to 19-10 this season. Premiership defender. Had a few that have come forward and back, haven't they? They need a goal though because Collingwood has made the fast start straight out of the middle and straight through the middle. The D's are on the board by Harrison Petty, and the mark deserves a goal.
Probably something we don't see enough of from a Melbourne perspective. Contested marks in the forward 50. They're like gold, aren't they? This was an absolute beauty.
Frampton, who's got Petty there, just lets him go in the end. A nice little block from Chandler, gives him a bit of room. And as you said, Jace, he had a good grab at it. The start for the Demons in terms of the contested work at ground level is outstanding. So 14-6 contested possessions, they'll take that all day long. They've got to protect the footy a little bit better. I think Collingwood's pressure has had them be a bit fumbly and turn the ball over and make a couple of bad decisions, particularly in the Magpies forward half. It's been a willing start from Melbourne.
It does shape as entertaining. High flyers and goals early. The atmosphere might lend itself to that. Collingwood would like to be high scoring and hone this offensive game heading towards September. Pendlebury hacked it forward. It was a tough ball for Long to gather. He left it behind. So the Demons with a chance to set themselves up. Cully, Petrarca, Oliver, side bottom to deal with, kept the hands free, but he has given it up. Canterbury drew the high contact from Viney.
There's an example of it. Turn the footy over. Just, sloppy handball under good Collingwood pressure.
End of season number 20. Signed on for season 21. With the game's record in his sights. And Maynard will forever be a villain in the eyes of Demon fans. Drowned out by the Collingwood faithful who have the numbers at a home game. Cameron will be the target in the pack, but Gawn beats him cold. Took the honours on the King's birthday. He was in the coach's votes, Max Gawn. Legacy defining All-Australian night coming for him.
You can see as soon as they get the ball where they're looking, they want to be expansive with their ball use. But you've still got to allow the right players to take those risks, not just everyone.
Oliver with the long ball. He's set Melksham one hell of a task. Franklin's got it.
That's the ball that the Collingwood defenders will enjoy, just long and slow.
Quite aggressive from Billy and from Jordan to go to half back. So Houston playing on the wing again this week is the experiment we saw last week. I think overall they were happy with 18 disposals and a nice long goal. Just taken the full assessment there before going short to Quainer. So there's a tick for Melbourne to slow them down, but the hard run from Dacos is rewarded. Josh to half forward, May in front this time. Needed a mark for a confidence boost. McStay made the contest, now gets it from Schultz. The call to the inside. McCreary to Goey was involved at the start, and now he's involved near the end, although that's a fantastic spoil from Langford. Gets it to safety and away from long.
It is a good spoil. Kept his eyes on the footies. He went back with the flight. Made good contact. Perfect technique.
Part of the rising star class that will soon be voted on in the top half dozen prospects. Gawn and Salem and Oliver. Whistles his way clear. Viney, Hampas tipped. Crisp is in with a real chance here. Squeeze the kick. Wrong side of the post.
Another turnover in your front half, Jace. So Melbourne have hands on the footy, go for that extra handball in congestion, and Collingwood sweat on it.
Stephen May, he was going to favour the southern side, goes to reverse. Langford, Lipinski adjusts, but he can't stop the leap. And talk about positives out of this year. This young man, Gary, the future is so bright for him, isn't it?
He's had a fantastic year. He's played wing, he's played inside, he goes to the goal square and can lead out of there and kick goals. He's a terrific pickup.
Most forward time of the year last week. Kick along the wing. Melksham to Petrarca. Again, the eyes skirting the options through the middle. Oliver and Langford kept on running, and Viney and McPhee can kick deep. Fritz is coming out of the square. Tried to adjust the kick to suit. Just didn't quite get the dimensions right.
Well, that's as good a ball movement as you can see and you can hope for there. It's just the finish in the end. There's the Langford mark. He's been a terrific pickup. He's going to play a lot of footy for the Demons. Eventually he'll go in and become the key inside mid.
Gather around the throw-in. Petty rucking against Cameron, who uses his expertise and experience in that regard. Schultz and Long. It's bogged down though. Done by Howes. Gets it to safety.
Collingwood by 8 early. Stronghold of Magpie fans. The last home game of their season. Gets to the back for Schultz. Sharp hand pass picked off. Petrarca tried to set Sparrow on his Petrarca back with Chandler. Spins out. Open up the possibilities for Langdon. Charged down by Howe. Good to have him back as the sure hand in defence. Petrarca has another guy. Petrarca picked up by Nick Dacos. Houston and Schultz worked at the Cameron. Out in front of McCreary. Cutting the angles well was Turner. He diffuses the scenario through Salem and out to McDonald.
Back 2:49 for Tom McDonald.
Outside 5.
What a warrior he's been for the D's.
Important interception. Daniel Turner left his man. Otherwise, McCreary was away.
Kick goes from Howes to half forward. Push.
Again, this is exactly what the Pies want in their back half. Long and slow like that. It won't work for Melbourne. They haven't got the marking power. So they set up beautifully. If Collingwood can slow Melbourne down like that, makes it a really difficult night.
Yeah. Adding Howe to that combination in defence. Yeah. It is a different look, isn't it? Perryman Just takes what he's given down the line. McDonald again, help from Turner. Howes. Hassled by Schultz. Do a little dance on the line. And eventually everyone agrees. So midpoint of this opening term. Let's have a look at smother here. The disciplined stuff from the Pies. They're not letting Melbourne get past that half-forward line easily, are they? Whether in the air or on the ground. Collingwood 2 goals, Melbourne 1. The lead is 8. Oh, what a great start they had last week in Adelaide. Gave it all up. And he's got jumped by the Hawks. Oh, that was clever from Viney. Went through the legs. Houston. Oh, they went through the side.
Advantage.
Hanging on and significant advantage. Sends it up inside the 50. Membry not quite. Good work from Turner. Now Salem. McCreary desperate to get an opportunity. Membry has to track it back. Being pursued all the way. Lipinski, McCreary, Lipinski. A good look here. 35 out. Should kick the goal. Should. It doesn't.
He's found goals hard to come by in recent times. Just 1 goal in the past 6 matches. Don't get too many better looks than that. McDonald all the way to the middle of the ground. Van Rooyen couldn't get access. Moore read it well.
Again, you just watch that unfold, and Darcy Moore, you could see him licking his lips as he was going in to mark that ball. Good binoculars on it.
Brings it to the near side. An awkward ball. Perryman handled it well. Up the line, couldn't keep it in the field of play.
Well, the really interesting thing about that long kick down the middle, Gaz, is Max Gawn's not on the ground. And you're doing it to Van Rooyen when he's in the ruck. There's Darcy Cameron and also Darcy Moore there in the middle. Strange decision.
May just needs to settle into this game. Where's he gone there? Just enough on it, McVie. I beg your pardon, it's Howes who's got it.
So you can just see how hard Collingwood are working here to try and take away this corridor that Melbourne want to go to.
McDonald missed his target in Viney. It might work. Langford pounces and they're on out the back. A strong kick all the way to Melksham. Gives it off to Cozzy. Pickett blasts it home.
So not by design, so let's not muck around. The kick from McDonald was where they wanted to go. We've identified that early. They want to be aggressive. They want to come through the middle of the ground at all costs. He missed it that badly that it opened up over the back for Langford to run onto.
This is the kick looking for Viney in the middle, and that goes way over his head.
And it just opens up beautifully for a left footer who comes back through the middle, and then they've got 3 out the back. So what we've got early in the game is, if you're a Collingwood fan, it's just a bit nervous. You're a little bit nervous because right now the gap between the two sides on what we've seen in, whatever it is, 18 minutes of footy is not that great. Now, Melbourne people will tell you historically it's their capacity to hang in there for long periods of time. So we've got a contest on our hands early anyway.
Collingwood won't necessarily want it to be a high-scoring game in the sense that they won't want Melbourne to kick too many, because that won't help their percentage. Cozzy Pickett, 39 goals, getting close to a PB of 41. He's had a fine season when you're at his midfield output to that as well. Perryman's lefty, gets to half forward. McVie seemed to have Schultz subdued well enough. He got help from Bowie. Langford off the wing against Sidebottom. Good learning experience for him there. Bowie seemed to wherewithal to get out. It's just a rush ball to the wing. Anyone's guess. Chandler, Crisp, take your turn. Oliver takes his. Up to half forward. Howe with the push and shove with Melksham. Melksham did really well just to hang on, but unfortunately the umpire saw it.
Well, he's got that job, I think, keeping an eye on Jeremy Howe, trying to make him not become an intercepting problem.
Yeah, it's not Howe, it's more, isn't it? It's whoever he's trying to contain. It's not easy. Houston, as they get into their kicking flow. Out wide from McCreary. Scant obvious options for him for now. Hard lead along the line from Membry. Workhorse sort of drops the mark. Invites Howes in. McCreary. Well, hit a bit of a dead end here, or even worse, Turner takes it away to Sparrow. The initial fumble was McCreary could equalise. Pendlebury waiting on the outside for a handball that doesn't come his way. And Van Rooyen throws his weight around to good effect. Over and out. So 2-3-15 Collingwood, 2 straight 12 Melbourne. The D's with the last 2 goals to equal this affair. Troy Chaplin's 3rd and final game as the interim coach.
Melbourne 7-15 this season. Collingwood 15-7.
Had 39 kicks, 44 handballs, Melbourne. It's as slick by hand as I've seen them for a long time.
Gone open space at the back. Chandler had it picked off. McCreary forged away. Retreated. Pendlebury. Didn't give to Maynard at the first, but does at the second, and he'll pump it in deep again. Elliott seems well set. Perfectly weighted ball.
Well, this is what Magpie fans want. They want this man back involved. We talked about the fact that, you know, his form's dropped off, the correspondence with the fact they've lost 5 of their last 6, but that makes sense. Forwards are sometimes relying on what's going on up the ground, but they need to have him back at his finest if they're going to do damage in September.
First time in his career to the 50-goal milestone, but only 4 goals in the past 4 matches. Jamie Elliott with an early look. Missed by less.
Well, the positive from a Collingwood perspective is every time they go forward, they look likely to score. So that's 8 inside 50s for 6 scores. That is an incredible conversion rate. They just need to make sure they're getting them between the big sticks because they're creating opportunities.
So he's created some run. Labau, his kick was in a hurry. Gawn and Petty. And Gawn did well to understand that it was Petty's mark to Petrarca. Here's those hands again, Gaz. 1, 2, 3. Langford, no more. Darcy Moore puts a stop to that.
That's well done, though, by Moore. Came up at the right time, just read it. Sitting back, watching it unfold, and then making his move at the right time. But they shouldn't be... they just should keep going by hand, Melbourne. It looks good when they do.
Don't be deterred.
That's exactly the word I was after.
And Dacos. Centre half forward and beyond. Outnumbered in there, my check to go. He could sense a little path through. Overplayed his hand. Howes, Rivers. No one tackles better or more often for Collingwood than that man, Schultz. Now it's Oliver's path disrupted. Swallows belted it, but the umpire's found a free. It's not a popular call at this stage.
Yeah, he said he held on after the ball had left the area. Collingwood fans want to know how it left the area.
Melbourne fans will remember back to King's birthday when they did feel reasonably hardly done by the umpires, but it is a fan's view, of course. And my check looked sort of sore and tired on the mark. That's a wrist that he's nursing there. His future beyond this year remains a little clouded. Oliver. Frampton. Petty's got the range he's marking. He flew with intent.
Frampton, Collingwood.
And there's a free to Billy Frampton. Everyone slowed, and then they realised the advantage was for the Magpies. Side bottom, crisp, quick to work it out. Schultz. Nick Dacos is deep. Alongside Mychecker. Appears to have recovered. Side bottom's overtures were ignored. Cambridge drifting down as well. McStay has eyes for the footy, but so does Max.
It's incredible to watch Lachie Schultz kick that ball. It was as if he picked Max Gawn out and just ran straight at him and kicked it at him.
And there were other options.
It's unbelievable.
May, not a square to spare there.
Liz, he let that go out, Stephen May. He could have taken that earlier. That was risky.
Get it outside the defensive area. Petty and Frampton. Petty had front position, crisp away to DeGoey. Checked the kick well. Elliott just out of his grasp. Here's a kick at goal sides. Howes will have to follow it back. Gets it from May. Oh, that's into the stand.
I reckon that's out.
Gordon he's about a fraction off having an impact in a game of footy. He had a great centre bounce clearance and missed the target. He saw the kick here really early and just pushed it over the top.
If you could give Craig McRae a list of 4 or 5 things he'd want to get out of today, that'd be right up there, guys.
Yeah, he's getting ever closer, Hutto, I reckon. By the end of the game, we'll be reminded, I think, of what Jordan McGoey can bring.
Lachie Schultz on the move. He's giving it a look. It's narrow.
The thing that is there, Gaz, is his work rate. He's pushing extremely hard, contest to contest, and that's what will open up the opportunities you're talking about.
Thank you, Jono. Schultz kicked the opener. Kicked 2 behinds last week. Far away then. Van Rooyen called upon to mark, and he used his strength and height that time to advantage. Instinctive little give to Cully. No further initially. Howes. A bit more handball as the go. Where's he going, Van Rooyen? Long down the line. Petty in front of Frampton with both hands. He hangs onto the mark. 70 out. Langford's back in the square, but not favoured at all by the kick.
It's just a horrid kick.
Yeah, he apologises afterwards. I tell you what he has got, though. He's got the sticky hands.
Yeah, he's jumping at it as well as he has.
It looks like he'll mark everything.
Side bottom on the last line. We've seen that through his career every now and then, haven't we? So bottom comes away. Oh, that's a shove right in the middle of the back from Cameron. At least one of the umpires saw it. And the free goes to Tommy Mack at half forward.
Going outside 5. Front back guy.
In fact, a turn.
Outside 5.
Howell Turner search for a target inside 50. Gawn's on the leads. He's overkicked him. Frampton takes the intercept mark. So Chittery first up against Hawthorn, a little more sure last week.
Choose a good lead for Max Gawn. Anything in front of him and he marks.
Collingwood could find Max Gawn just like it was Melbourne couldn't.
7 intercept marks, though, already from a Collingwood point of view.
Houston builds things out. My check in the grapple. Donald held on. Hand is causing discomfort to my check.
It was a bit stiff. Tom Donald got a good fist on the ball in the end.
My check with a chance. Jammed in low. McStay bounced off his chest. Salem clears with McVee. Tosses it back to Myercheck, who has to wait. Van Rooyen hit him hard. Cameron on the ground ball, didn't quite gather. Pick up by Myercheck on the follow-up. Eludes Turner. Will be thrown in.
He'd be disappointed, Dan McStay. You can't get a better kick than that. When you're in a crowded forward line, you get a low dart that brings you up at it and hits you on the chest. But that kick there, anywhere in front of you, Max marks the ball.
McStay would be another one on that Craig McRae list to try and return to some form.
He looks worried, Brady Myercheck.
Doesn't look great.
Dacos read the hand. Ready for it, wriggles the handball away to Chris, but no further. Oliver. As luck would have it, it went to Fritz, but he dropped it. Houston worms his way through, and then this is the shot.
Well, they've had plenty of opportunities.
Yep.
12 times inside 57 scores, Jace, as you pointed out.
8 scores now, yeah.
Eight scores. So, yeah, we spoke to Zach Merritt. He said he broke his hand. He said he knew it the second he broke it. I hope that's not the case here for Brody Myercheck. He's incredibly important.
In a tackle as well, so precisely the action that Myercheck was engaged in. Donald brings it inboard.
I guess Merritt was back after a week, wasn't he? So it was the week off.
He's working hard defensively, the Magpies here. So long down the line is what they want to get.
Turner out near Gawn, and Petty was in the same pack. It's off a shin.
And that's a simple equation. They want long down the line, and from a Melbourne point of view, if that's the case, they've got to at least halve the contest, which they haven't been doing. 7 marks from intercept for Collingwood early. So getting it out of bounds is as good a result as they could hope for.
What sort of test they might run on Myercheck at quarter time. Sub tonight is Rome Steele. Pendlebury gets a look late in the term. Crisp, sharp hands. Off it was short. Salem ran enough interference. In close, Langford's. Coming back to Langford.
Stand there, Sam, please. Stand.
50 seconds to level things up. Langford calming things rather than opening up the possibilities. Long down the line. Gawn and Petty again, both in the pack. Gawn, lovely rise. Took the mark low down.
Well, the other thing for Max is that the 8th All-Australian blazer could be short up tonight.
Fritsch needs one more target inside 50. He rolls and gives Van Rooyen a look. Used the body, cleared the space, dropped the mark, snapped the goal. Van Rooyen grabs the late one. Ties things up on the way to quarter time.
He's had a good 3 or 4 weeks. Jacob Van Rooyen, big investment. He's a great hope for Melbourne supporters that he can hold down that key post, and he just looks like he's got some confidence back in his game. I thought the kick from Fritsch, didn't actually see Van Rooyen down there, so it was good vision, and then he's showed some good recovery. Dropped the mark that maybe he would like to have taken, but this is a good sign when you can get back on a ball at ground level like that for a big boy, for a big man.
Drummed his own contested marking opportunity and a really clever finish. Big Max, he looks dangerous. They've got to look for him every time he goes forward.
He's kicked 11 goals in his last 7 since returning to the senior side. No contested marks in the last 4 weeks, but his confidence is definitely getting back. So if he can start hanging on to them, Gary, he's a different player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's getting to more contests too, and he's working a bit harder up the ground. So he's had a much better back half of the year.
So scores will be level at quarter time, unless in 12 seconds either Collingwood or Melbourne can take it out of the middle. Pies get the chance. McCreary Back to Cameron. Is there a mark for Schultz? Right on the death. It'll be Lockie Schultz for the lead.
That is outstanding from Collingwood. Just with the time, every player on the ground would have known there were 12 seconds to go when that ball's bounced in the middle. So from the defender's point of view, to be beaten to the ball when it drops short like that, these Blake Howes would be really disappointed with that. That's what Schultz, the awareness and the anticipation.
Took the most marks inside 50 for the Pies last week, which was a reflection probably on how their forward line didn't function. He took a mark at about the spot last week, gave it off to Nick Dacos. Doesn't have that option here. He'll have to try and do it himself. He does put the Pies in front. He's done the bulk of the scoring in terms of the scoring shots in the opening term without being accurate like his teammates. 2-7-19 to 3 straight 18. Coming up, it's a double header, and it's farewell to two of the greats. Ken Hinkley as the coach of Port Adelaide, and also Travis Boakman. What a night it is for the Gold Coast Suns. Magpie fans will be watching as well.
All right, folks, there we go. Welcome in, everybody. Teenager Shelty, the famous one. Hey, Perez, come over from the NRL game. Hey, Mark, how you going? Go Pies, Taddy. What's happening? I tell you what, we've got a fantastic game here. Well, it's a tight game, a little bit scrappy, a little bit fumbly from both sides. Pies winning that quarter 2-7. I tell you what, they want to get their kicking boots on, the Pies. 2-7-19. Melbourne doing what they got to do. 3 straight goals, 18. 9 scoring shots to 3. Holy moly, guacamole. 2 goals, 9. Get your kicking boot on. Tell you what, they've got a lot to play for, the Magpies, tonight. They've got a top 4 position up for grabs. And we'll have a look at the ladder and all that and talk about who we think is going to make the finals and who I think will make positions on the ladder. Of course, last round of the home and away season. Plus, we've got the extra game next Wednesday. Essendon and the Gold Coast Suns coming up there. So they got that extra game to play, have the Gold Coast Suns. But an interesting opening term. Good football. Tell you what, it's a beautiful night out there. A little bit cloudy, 15 degrees there in Melbourne. No rain, so it's a great night for football. Addy G, what's going on? Freo time, we hope we win. You know, I had another thought about Freo. We'll go through that a little bit later on. My thoughts is Freo can still lose. They can still make the 8. That's my thoughts. I was having a little bit of a look before. I think they can still do it. Hey, just have a look at the lineups for the teams. We didn't get into it. No changes for Melbourne. Harry Sharp is the sub, of course, for the Magpies. Jeremy Howe coming back in. Rowan Steele. Ed Allen going out with Will Parker. Rowan Steele sub. Tim Membry, 200 games. There we go. There are your lineups, folks. Hey, let's have a quick look at the player stats. Let's just have a look at the live ladder as it stands. There's the live ladder. Collingwood up into 3rd. You know what, folks? And that is exactly where I think they'll end up at the end of the year, because some of my predictions might surprise you a little bit later on. There we go. Let's just have a look at the goal scorers. Not many in the opening round. Of course, Jacob Van Ruin, Kajia Pickett, Harrison Petty. 3 goals there to Melbourne. And, of course, 2 goals for the Magpies. Lockie Schultz has got 1. Braden Maynard. There we go. Unlikely type Braden Maynard. Snaring a goal. Disposal getters on the ground. Christian Salen for Melbourne. Top 3 for Melbourne. Only one in double figures. 6 kicks, 5 handballs. Harvey Langford, 9. Jake Bowie, 9. Of course, Collingwood have beaten Melbourne 5 of the last 6 outings. 1 by a point, 2 games by 7 points, and 2 games plus 40, I think. And then Melbourne won the other game. There we go. Scotty Penn will be best for the Maggies on 8. There we go. Jack Viney, Clayton Oliver, 8 and 7. Lockie Schultz, 7. Kick that 1 goal, 2. Get your kicking boot on, Squire. Bo McCreary. Good to see him back in the side. Bit of speed off the half back and around the ball. He's on 7 so far. Nick Dacos, quite quarter. Just on the 6, I think Ed Langdon's probably got the job tagging him again, who did fantastic up until half-time last time these teams met. All right, there we go. DeGoey just on the 5. Josh Dacos into the play a little bit early in that opening term with 5 disposals, all kicks for Marks. Kajia Pickett, 3 disposals there for Melbourne, just that 1 goal. There we go. As we just roll on down, there are your player stats up until half-time there. I tell you what, maybe we'll have a look at that at half time. The rest of the games and the ladder position of ladder, because that is really interesting. Because we've definitely got Brisbane Hawthorn playing. We've got Freo the Bulldogs. We've got Gold Coast Port Adelaide. That's an interesting game. There we go. We'll talk about that at half time, because I think that could be an upset game coming. Oh, no, it's actually talking about that. Yeah, Freo probably do need to win one, don't they? Quite possibly. We'll have a look anyway. It's going to be really, really interesting, the fixture. I was going to write it down. I was going to actually write it down later and put my ladder positions in, but I didn't get around to it. But you just never know. All right, let's head back down to the action. 30 seconds out, and they'll take us into the bounce of the ball for the second quarter, where it's the Maggies leading by 1, solitary behind.
When he swings down right there, the momentum of Oliver just pushed that wrist up, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, you can see it here on the vision here, just the right hand, the right wrist of Brodie Moyton under the rib cage there. Right there, it just bends the wrist. So he was looking at that with the physios and doctors at quarter time, hasn't strapped it up. It was concerning during that first term, of course. And then the way Melbourne are playing it, we've been impressed with their corridor ball.
Yeah, it is, and they're just looking to go there every chance. So we'll see how Collingwood adapt to that and clog up that corridor.
They've been lucky at times, but hopefully they can score that way. It's exciting to watch.
Spycheck just clearly still bothered.
Second most handballs in a quarter this season from a Melbourne point of view.
Collingwood by points. Wayward in the opening term. 9 scoring shots to 3. Cameron, it's picked off by Langdon, so Melbourne get the first look. Perryman cuts it off. Spreads to the worn side of the grounds. Lipinski out the back of Sparrow. Sparrow keeps him honest and then sticks the tackle. Lipinski releases, and Quaynor with a chance to build. Josh Dacos sets Collingwood beyond halfway. Myercheck out-positioned on that occasion by Turner.
Magpies have got to make the most of their opportunities when they go forward, Jace. Should be further ahead.
Yeah, 9 scoring shots to 3. I mean, if they'd kicked 7-2 instead of 2-7, we'd sit there and say they're back to their best.
Langdon takes the yardage. Moore coming back with the flights. Ground ball to be won. Got past Petrarca. Has it. Release. Chandler doesn't. He sticks the tackle. Quaynor with a quick release. McCreary makes it up on the fly. Brings it out to side bottom. So the veteran gets there on the third bounce. Glances downfield to see what's on offer. Waits the ball. Just a fraction short of McStay. Teammate might have got in the way and all of that too. There's a Collingwood free kick, much to the delight of the home fans, to Nick Dacos.
So it's the Langdon tag. If you remember last time they played, it got tighter and tighter.
To the teeth of goal. Membry, not quite. Swatted away on the second bite. McDonald and May collaborates. Perryman and Fritsch. McCreary. Josh Dacos. Just had the outlier in Perryman. Chance to set up another advance.
So Gawn works down to the goal square. Cameron tries to even up now, so he can't be the marking presence. Or try to stop him being the marking presence.
Let's get the shot clock running. Harry Perryman. Wonder what his intentions are on approach. Trying to spear for a target. Nick Dacos just dropped the mark. Langdon wears him ever so close. It's a stalemate.
Yeah, I wonder if Bishop Petrarca was able to get a fingertip on that. A little bit of byplay between Dacos and Langdon as they renew battle.
Gawn. Read by Long to Pendlebury. Inside bottom through both hands. Look at the turn from Petrarca. Enough to get it to Fritsch and then to Oliver and back to Fritsch. Fends off side bottom. Doesn't buy a lot of time and space, but it's enough. With help from Oliver. Fritsch has kicked to half forward. Maynard through the boots.
Well, Consie Pickett has kicked 1 goal, but apart from that, had very little same proceedings. He's got to be able to read that play unfold earlier. Just another intercept mark from a Collingwood point of view.
Yeah, seems to be playing deep forward, not really getting involved as much.
The last possible moment to release the kick. McDonald disrupting. Free kick to Elliott, though. They take the advantage. Yes, it's allowed from Pendlebury. Out wide, Lipinski collects his thoughts and delivers, even with a sore hand or wrist. Myercheck wasn't going to drop that.
Well, when you want someone to be able to set you up, you get it in the hands of a Pat Lipinski. He just doesn't miss when he gets time like that. eye someone up, and I'm sure Brody Myercheck realised that as soon as he got it, he was off.
So Myercheck, we've got a man who can play through pain. It's Brody Myercheck. 35 goals for the season. Sends this on its way. Time to straighten up for the Magpies. And he's your man, Brody Myercheck. So the Pies slip away to a 7-point lead. Goalless last week. It's the second game of being goalless for the season. Going to stand for that.
Well, they're going to continue to create opportunities. They're going to win the territory 16-9, the inside 50s at the moment. But most important is when they go forward, they look like scoring every time. It's just a matter of composure. And you're right, look, you'd love Nick Dacos kicking inside 50, but this guy at the moment, he's the number one kick going inside 50. You can understand why forwards want to hit up at him, because he just puts it right where you need you. You'd have to jump out of the way not to get knocked over by it. Perfect pass, a good finish, and now they get a little bit of reward and an opportunity to put a bit of breathing space on the scoreboard.
Well, they want to, with 10 scores, 16 entries. So this is glass half full. You're wrapped with the way they're able to get inside and score. Now, if they can straighten up, then they're away.
Collingwood by 7. Gawn clean tap. Pickett tries to get himself going. Back to Gawn. Slice the kick out to half forwards. And all Petrarca managed to do was push Perryman into the drop zone. He's got the quick kick on to Long. Stand! Pies spread. Maynard widest. Perryman stayed active up ahead, but he's manned up. So Maynard tries into the centre square. High risk, high reward. Cameron has the footy. Quick release. Josh Dacos up to full forwards. Melbourne have numbers. Punch to 8 at the first instance. Crisp. Tackle by Chandler, who got him. Got him the ball.
Great tackle.
Big game of cat my house between Cameron and Gawn right now. They both know exactly what each other wants, and they're trying to take it away.
Back to Bowie and across to Gawn on the wing. Fritz, a quick call down the line. Wasn't quick enough to respond. Petrarca will do just nicely. And Rivers to his left. Melksham and Van Rooyen. Pickett, if there's crumbs, there's crumbs. They're right out the back, though. They're not available to anyone.
Bit of a nothing kick in the end going inside 50 from Petrarca. A couple of shorter options might have been better.
He could have waited, Jace. Sometimes when it's not there for you, wait and let the forward do some work to create some space.
Which hasn't really been Melbourne's MO tonight, though. They just want to go.
Long got going. And Elliott's out the back. It's a promising looking move. Membry's the deep targets. Elliott holds up. He's trying to get it to Membry against May. Goes there now. May got the hand in.
And it's a better match-up for Stephen May. That he was with Elliott early in the piece. Now, whether they've rolled over or Elliott just got up high, this is great ball movement here.
He looks a lot more comfortable on Tim Membry, doesn't he? Able to take front position, hold his spot, punch the ball away.
He's played Elliott before, but maybe he's not quite in that form.
Vulnerables in the one-on-ones. Just to square that one. The rucks go to work. Bowie, piece of roving. Hammers it outside the area. Melksham a fly. Kicked it out of Moore's hands initially, and Chandler will get the free kick. Quick release. Away goes Oliver. Plays it to halfway for Melksham. He had a mind to roll and go, and he does. Van Rooyen racing up toward the 50. Cully gets in deep. Pickett's out of the square.
This is the one you're talking about. Don't rush it.
Melksham from range. Tees it up. Now can Fritsch get the leap? He used the push. And he got away with it.
He used it well, Terry. That's a neat little push.
It's a push, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's a push. The umpire. It's a push.
Second half of the season's been infinitely better than the first. Fritsch rams through the goal that levels the scores again.
Well, the best kick out of all of them was the one that found Van Rooyen, because Jeremy Howe was back in a hole, and I thought when he pulled the trigger, I can't remember who kicked it. That
Melksham, it was Melksham who then went and ran on and got it again.
Yeah, Melksham. I thought he was going to send it straight down Jeremy Howe's throat, but he pulled the kick, and then just have a look at this.
So you're allowed to hold space but not create space.
He pushed him off the line.
He pushed him to open up the space.
Having said that, he wasn't looking at the footy, was he, Perryman?
But if he, but Jared's right. If he's holding there and he goes back to his left, his left, and now right looking at this, that's okay. But he pushes him under the ball to be able to take the mark. That's a push from mine.
He steps forward into him, doesn't he?
It's on the board. And the D's back within a point. Dacos gets busy. Petrarca held him up. Zagoe with the same sort of heat from Viney. Viney will tackle anybody at any time. He's doing it his whole 237-game career. Back out of there from Zagoe. He doesn't actually get out of there. Gordon, to be fair, he bet along. Tries to get it through to McStay. That's not going to happen. Turner. And all sorts of difficulties in disposing of it. And McStay's tackle goes unrewarded. And the next one's paid.
And I like that decision because Jordan Zagoe put the head down and tried to barge through the tackle with his head.
He doesn't like that decision.
Yeah, I like it though. I think the umpire, look at it, he puts the head down and tries to barge through.
Salem, fluently enough to Langford. Good run from Oliver going past. He's been chugging along. Pickett, can he get a jump at this? He nudges Frampton under it. It's all Collingwood at back. Houston sweeping with Maynard and Howe. Handball's slick enough. Down to McStay. Won't be easy against Gorn. He knows when to mark and he knows when to fist. Big Maxi.
Well, I reckon Billy Frampton wouldn't be overly comfortable one out against Cozzy Pickett, except on that occasion it was a long, high kick in, which just didn't suit Pickett at all.
Exactly. So kick the ball out to the right along the ground, and then Billy will start to get nervous.
Yes.
Troy Chaplin, 215 games as a player, 140 with Port, 75 with Richmond. His third game as senior coach. Oliver, Salem, Langdon. Fumble from Langford, not ideal, but not a disaster. Langdon, he couldn't have teed it up much higher. Might be Petty going for it, or Melksham. It was Petty. Viney. Dacos was ready and waiting. The ball came out unexpectedly to Oliver. He had Langdon off Fritz. He could sweep through on the left. There's D's everywhere. Petrarca, how? Fist was good and directed, so it wasn't just about spoiling. To Zagoe perfectly to Dacos, looked straight into the middle. Salem ready and waiting. And his recovery was good, but this man's was better. Nick Dacos slipped through the tackle and he's doing some high contact. Salem better be careful, but one of the guys, if he was playing on, so I can as well.
So here's this cat and mouse. Max Gordon's down the line and Cameron's running through the middle of the ground. So nice where he goes.
For Nick, he does go to Cameron, Oliver and Cully, who's shown the ability to take a fine mark. He's made a good impression in his first 4 games.
Langford caresses the kick up to Fritz. Buried by Howe.
That's a bit of old-fashioned defending there, Jeremy Howe.
It is.
Make them earn it.
Yeah, it gives them some time to get up behind the ball as well.
Choosing the right angles. Oliver McVee's on the flyby. So up to full forwards. Petty and Melksham, the 2 flyers. It's away and out of play.
So they took the kick to Cameron in the middle of the ground. They bit it off and Cully was able to read it, come in off his wing and intercept.
Clayton Oliver up to 15 disposals, 2 for the D's.
Petty has to ruck against Cameron. He's knocked off it underneath legally. Quick release, Melksham, the chip. He's good. Just a little sand iron.
Some skill in that. There's some real skill in that kick from Jake Melksham. 450 stoppage, goal, they are. The thing about Oliver's possessions, Hutto, is that 13 of them have been uncontested.
Yep.
So
he's running for that, though, isn't he?
He's found his ability to cover some ground, and he got first hands on it this stoppage as well, I think. So it was Petty. So this is a beautiful. That is real skill.
And the other thing about Oliver getting some uncontested possessions is you give yourself a little bit more time to make better decisions with the footy and kick to the advantage of teammates. And what they have done in the last 5 to 7 minutes, the D's, is take territory. They're playing the game in their forward half and starting to get repeat opportunities.
Plus 12 contested ball as well from a Melbourne point of view. They take that.
Pies have to win, just a reminder. There's your live ladder. If they don't, they'll miss top 4. Zagoe gets to work. Dacos, he's got Elliott in his sights. He can't mark. Great work. Loose ball. McStay needs a confidence boost, and when you're missing him, they're missing him. But that was great courage from Turner. It's just not happening for Daniel McStay, though, is it?
So the Wayward Pies continue 3-8 on a night that could get tenser and tenser. It's not what you sign up for. Kill it early. That hasn't been done.
It's what round 24 can be all about, though, can't it?
Sparrow brings it up the line. Van Rooyen brought it down to his own advantage and finished the mark. Up, thought about it, and then decided, yep, that was all on. Finally, found the target. Melksham. How will he bring this inside 50? Low and strong, but not to advantage, and Cameron's filling that hole. They are an absorbing pair, Cameron and Gawn, the way they are deploying.
It's fascinating to watch it all unfold. It's good old cat and mouse stuff going on here. Van Rooyen's the nominated ruck at the moment.
Josh Dacos, his 10th disposal. Again, it's another high one. Van Rooyen's ball by his own teammate. The fist gains 15 or 20 metres for Collingwood. Pendlebury paddles it back. Sparrow gets displaced. McVee came spinning through Sparrows. Headlong into trouble and into Nick Dacos.
So just look deep again, and Jamie Elliott's been able to get the Stephen May match-up as the deepest forward.
Two of they are getting caught out a bit, the D's, is when there's a pack, the ball's getting over the back to Collingwood's advantage.
And back to Cameron in a friendly manner. Schultz kept McVee away. No one stopped Perryman, feeding to Lipinski. Works it through to Myercheck. And Elliott in the square just to make sure of it. And he doesn't get the rush of blood. He still might run around and kick the goal. Pies back in front. But we have ourselves a contest.
We do. I'd like to see... I looked up and saw the May match-up with Elliott there, and this ball's in dispute. I just wonder where Stephen May ended up, because Elliott marks it on the goal line.
I think he got drawn up towards Myercheck. So Myercheck gets the ball and he comes.
He's
caught in no man's land in there.
He didn't read that one.
No.
He was never going to get to Myercheck.
And in actual fact, you're better off making Myercheck have that shot on the run across the body, aren't you?
Yeah. He may have started to think about misreading a ball in space and trying to get there.
I mean, he's been making those calls for so many years so well, hasn't he? So
the suspension may have just planted a little seed of doubt in his mind. But they deserve this, the Magpies. I mean, they're going inside at a rate that suggests if they converted better, then the gap would be better. But 20 insides for 12 scores.
For a 1-point lead beyond the halfway mark of the second term to go. He came bouncing through, sets up Myercheck.
Well, that's the most exciting thing that's happened tonight from a Collingwood point of view. He's just threatened Jordan to go. He's threatened at times to just burst and break something open. And this is perfect here. Centre bounce, bang. That's Jordan to go at his best.
Already kicked a goal in this second term, Brodie Myercheck. A full-blooded strike from outside the arc. He's dragged it.
A little bit un-Jack Viney-like in the middle of the ground. Normally he would nail to go in a tackle, but maybe he thought he fumbled that he was reaching for the footy and just got brushed aside.
Stephen May getting what we call encouragement, but he goes right down the middle. Petty's at the back of all of that, and Van Rooyen both made the disruption, allows Viney to fritz. Melksham is weaving his way back up to the footy. Kick was too heavy, but Maynard was overcommitted. So Melksham, pass or shot? It's a shot, and it's touched by Billy. Frampton on the line. Wrong club that time from Melksham.
It would have been the culmination of a set play there from full-back, coming down the middle like that. I would love to have seen it come off with Billy Frampton in the right spot.
Frampton keeps himself in the action. Josh Dacos, Quain Orr searches for the right target in DeGoey. Wrestle in the back play. Getting involved with Josh Dacos. DeGoey gets it moving long, perfectly weighted to find him between two Ds.
Stephen May's left Jamie Elliott again here.
He's calling for it furiously in the pocket. DeGoey was legit running past too. Long has waited a long time, and now to a contest. Myercheck's a chance at the back, swatted away from him. Lipinski. Schultz tries to create. Houston. The Pies around the perimeter. Perryman.
There's a block, I reckon.
That is free kick. So they went the long way home and never quite got there. Viney to Rivers. Makes it up on the fly. Poor hand pass. Josh Dacos. The counter-attack might hurt. Steadies. Judicious. Pendlebury. Off to DeGoey, who'll load it up and blast it home. to the delight of the Collingwood faithful. A most welcome sight on the road to September.
That's punishing turnover, isn't it? And that's what the Pies, when they're at their best, can do. But you can understand what Melbourne are trying to do. They want to take risks. They want to be expansive with ball use. But they're not all on the same page. The hand pass from Rivers, I think, was looking for Langford, but he turned his back and was running further afield. They weren't connected. You turn it over, and now when Collingwood punish it, that's when they become the side that got 10 points clear on top of the table.
The Max Gawn sprinting back into the middle, not before time. First 12 minutes of this second quarter, Max was rucking. They were 7-zip from a clearance point of view. Max comes to the bench. That's all gone Collingwood's way from clearance, and they kicked the last 2 goals. And this man here, starting to get a smell of September in his nostrils, Jordan Agoe.
He certainly had to wait. Played rounds 2, 4, 6, 7 and 8, and then the last 3. They're the best signs we've seen so far. Pies out to a 7-point margin. Mighty tries to dig in. Little toe poke from Pendlebury to Dacos to Agoe. Remember them from a grand final a couple of years ago? Pendlebury out wide. Houston needs the ball to behave. It doesn't. Cully, it's all pretty tough.
Gawn's been one of the dominant players on the ground, but his absence there for that period of time, the whole makeup and complexion of the game changed.
The other one that's absent at the moment is Cossie Pickett. He's stuck on 4 possessions and just can't find a way to get himself involved.
He's up at this stoppage, but a little way off it as Gawn grabs and tries to give to Langdon. Possession zone is number 1 aim. Nick Dacos thinks it's a good time with the ball over the line, and just remind him that he can get involved in a rough and tumble and then have an innocent look on his face and draw a free kick as well. That's perfect.
Yeah, they're hyper alert. They're alert to everything right now. They might have missed a few in the first quarter of the King's birthday. They're not missing any tonight.
Don't the Magpie Army love that? Nick eventually releases the kick. They've got to get past Gawn, and in the end, he was fighting his own teammate, Tom McDonald, and there's another look.
A little bit of mayo on that one, isn't there? But shouldn't be holding his foot.
Langford directs play out to McVie and here's Pickett. Drags his kick back inboard for Petrarca. Delivers up inside the 50. Van Rooyen's got separation. Moore folds back. Van Rooyen up, didn't mark. Maynard, Quaynor straight into Pickett, who barreled him.
Gee, that was a great tackle. What's he paying? A trip?
Lucky against Cosy.
A trip? Did he say a trip?
He did.
Not on the tackle, sure.
No, after the tackle.
Lucky you're alert, Jono.
Quaynor out to Maynard. Can't quite see that myself, but
what are you looking at, Jono?
Yeah, Jono, what are you looking making stuff up, Jono?
now.
I did see a hand on the leg.
You had us bluffed.
Now with the aggressive kick. Angles are cut from all sides. Nick Dacos dragged down by Langdon. Onto it goes Howes. Poor release. McCreary, good release. Elliott's got a good look here. He sets his eyes for the big sticks and hit the post.
Second poster.
Second poster.
Yeah, for Jamie Elliott tonight. Again, Dan Turner, they're just not on the same wavelength of field. How that's a trip is beyond me. He's got him above the knees.
It's a tackle.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
And was calm with the way that he just placed him on the ground. Didn't drive through him at all.
Oh, hello, Jono's come around to our side now.
Swung under it.
Eating those big burgers, Jono. Kick goes to half forward. Petty up underneath it. Well, dribbles over and out.
Jamie Elliott's coming to the bench now. That May Elliott matchup is not what Melbourne want. Although they seem content for May to take whoever as the deepest forward from Collingwood's point of view. The Magpies just should make sure it's Elliott.
Oh, that's not a great sign.
No, it's not. And just grabbed the back of the hammy.
Yeah, not the way he's explaining things. That doesn't look great.
And from concussion, of course, Jeremy Howe. We can't release Gawn. Has better luck. Rivers. Aggressive and creative hands to Petrarca. Wasn't sure whether to go back or forward. And that indecision may have cost him in the end. Houston.
Well, I think when he turned his back as if he was going to come back, then Petty kept going. So that's just a connection, classic connection. This is really evenly balanced, this match here.
And they've opened the ground right up on the way out. Howes maybe just in for the infraction. Get out of jail there for the Magpies. Lipinski kind of runs up ahead, trying to keep Pickett occupied. As the footy, that's a good kick. Doesn't that open things up? Mycheck has some options now. Bangs it deep to full forward. Can McStay get a rise? Well, he can't mark, but he does feed it. Membry, McCreery, who's going to take it? Sidey, Sliley.
So you go back to half-back. The kick from Lipinski into the middle to find Mycheck was outstanding.
They've been doing that a bit, Jace, haven't they? Just kind of the line of the square where is the area that they've been looking at.
That kick
right there.
It drew him in on the lead.
Going on with a lip.
There is a bit of lip.
Yeah.
There's a bit of feeling there.
Which is good in a round 24 match with little consequence for Melbourne, but plenty for the Magpies. They need to win, preferably need to win big. They want to get their confidence back, and they want to get the fans believing.
So they got great reward for taking that kick, Jay. So it's interesting to defend against them. You've got to not just defend corridor. It's almost you've got to defend up to that line of the square. You couldn't have had it in better hands. They thought their way through that really well. Players could have been excused for blazing away and having a bit of a look. But when you've got as good a finisher as Steel Sidebottom inside, to find it there, to find him in the end, is a great result.
It's a really good contest from McStay as well. Prevent the big fist or the intercept mark from going. That keeps it alive.
So McCreery could have gone round that and looked then. But I love that, going back, then you get some time, you get yourself settled, you can set up behind if he happens to miss, but he doesn't miss too often, that man.
Subs warming up down below us. Roan Steele.
It's a big storyline, isn't it, for the Magpies?
Yeah, massive.
Jeremy Howe's gone to the back row. So an individual and a team fate for September on a hairline there as to exactly what that injury might be. Max gets to work with the tackle on Chris. Bowie's got that as a result, but they mucked it up to these. Collingwood with a chance to build. Long puts it out in front of McCreery. Hacked it forward. Well read by May. He chose the right cue that time. Viney.
Elliott on the bench at the moment might have helped him.
Yeah, they've kicked 3 in a row here, Collingwood, so really big, important time for the match for Melbourne. Do they roll over here or do they fight back?
Up the line it goes. Van Rooyen had a fly at the pack. Sidebottom is there underneath. Took his time. Frampton. It's a target. It's not there. The Jeremy Howe injury, so he's got a ductor, concussion, no luck whatsoever. Hasn't made it to halftime. And this is what the story of Collingwood is. He's a 35-year-old who's still the centrepiece.
Yeah.
And how would they endure the length of the season?
Yeah, it's just, the others have all stood up to a degree, but there was a chance that one of them was going to have some issues.
Down the line, Petrarca trying to muster the effort and the rise to try and compete for the mark. Wasn't quite able to. And he's going Dermot, of course, Jeremy Howe, and he's become more and more pivotal to their backline, really, give them more. Hasn't quite been able to reach his heights. Langdon to French.
Melbourne.
Could have been to their disadvantage. As it turns out, the kick was headed towards Frampton. So dangerous tackle to Ed Langdon.
Need to think their way through here with the ball use. They got plenty of numbers back. The Pies well organised in defence.
His brother, of course, played 89 games with the Magpies. Langdon kicks to the square. It's just all Collingwood. Any defender could take that mark, and it's Frampton. He's able to work the hands through Lipinski. Sends Craner on his way. Chandler was chasing hard. Schultz! He's only missed it by 2 metres.
Let's see what happens with the re-entry here, because they're set up so well behind the footy on slow play as well. So anything long's going to get gobbled up, you'd think.
Move it on for Howes was the call. Van Rooyen and Moore. Moore had good position, decided on the spoil.
They don't want to give one up here, Collingwood. They've worked hard. They've opened up a nice lead, 14 points. Kevin kicked the last 3. Inside the last 2 minutes, they don't want to give up a goal here.
4 goals to 2. Collingwood's way in this term in a game-high lead right now. Pendlebury and Petrarca are side by side at a stoppage. Oliver taken off it by Chris. Able to release long into a tackle, given a while. Pickett couldn't create. Schultz is a tackling machine.
How does the injury affect them tonight, do you think, Jason?
I think tonight they've got the game going okay in their favour, but setting up for September, it's a disaster for them.
Cameron just tapped it off the turf. Long had a mind to do the same. It came the way of Schultz. He ducked under the flying tackle and still got to tie.
Moves it quickly. Opportunity for Elliott. Got a little bit awkward for McDonald. He just propped Elliott and drew the free kick.
Yeah, well, he's complaining, Tom McDonald, but it's poor timing. I mean, Elliott got there too early. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, just stopped and
he stopped the knee in his back.
He stopped Tom. Game 249 for Tom McDonald, so close to 250s. He's had a very good season, but it's going to be interesting to see his future. Expect to could go around again. Elliott into the pocket. Petrarca steps across, coaches it back. And of course the new coach, I guess, will potentially get involved with making. And quite a few of them. Petrarca to the wing, more. Long. Seems happy enough to absorb. We have 55 seconds to go in this second term. 1 point was the difference at quarter time. And right now it's a 14-point advantage to the Pies.
Gorn looking for Oliver. It's kept away by Pendlebury. Pendlebury had a fly hack out at Rivers, gathered the foot, he came spinning through, got dragged down, so it really didn't go anywhere. Rivers committed himself once more.
Rivers.
And he will get a free kick for his endeavours.
Come back up.
Chance for a foray. Bring it inboard to Salem. Pickett wants it near the circles. Salem's just reluctant to distribute. Oh, now down that centre half forward. Gorn has been dragged down and has been paid a free kick against Maynard.
This is spot two. Maxie loves to launch from just outside 50.
Turned his back. He had Van Rooyen on the little lead.
He's got one thing in mind, Jason. That's the launch this from 55.
I get that, but he better have a chat to the umpire because he does like to arc right out when he kicks, so he'll need to start left of his kicking point.
Timing of the siren matters a lot here. Gorn's had a kink in his kicking this year. He's decided to short it, and Oliver is going to take the shot after the siren.
Take it easy, Daniel. We've got a free. No mark, mate.
Just got to keep their cool. Don't give away the footy. Don't give away a 50.
Oh, that's an ugly spoil because he's taken his eyes off the ball, watching the player and collected him with the arm.
Contact was it worthy of 50 perhaps, Jason?
Well, it wasn't late, I guess. Yeah. But it was just an ugly attempt to spoil, if you can call it that.
He's played 260 consecutive games tonight. After the half-time siren, Clayton Oliver to drag the Demons to a single-figure deficit. Oliver puts it on a path. It won't hang on. Behind in a 13-point margin Collingwood's way at half-time, 6:10:46 to the Demons, 5:3:33. The debate goes on. Jeremy Howe is out of business before the main break, so the implications for the campaign ahead for the Pies, on which so much of tonight is built.
Just adds to the layers, doesn't it, of both tonight and September. Sport, both locally and around the world, is reaching fever pitch, and none more so in the F1s. Off to the Netherlands next one.
Welcome back to the show. Lando Norris versus Oscar Piastri.
All right, folks, here we go, half-time. Maggie's doing it, well, just okay. 6:10:46, 5:3:33, 13-point margins here at half-time. Of course, the Magpies, well, they kicked a little bit straight there. 4 goals, 3. 4 goals, 3, a little bit better. The Demons, 2 goals, 3 to the Demons there. Hey, Paul Taddy, how you going? I'm a kind of friend, how you going? What's happening on? So sad, what's sad, what's sad? There we go. All right, sound like, oh, good stuff. Go Pies, go Doggies from Paul Taddy. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, we're going to have a look at the stats. We'll be back in a moment with the commentators. Oh, yeah, by the way, I wanted to check the game over, the other game that's happening over there at the moment. A bit of interest in that, Port Adelaide and the Gold Coast Suns. Gold Coast Suns leading at the moment, 9 minutes into the opening term there. 3 behinds, 3 points. Port Adelaide, 2 behinds, 2 points. This is a game I think Port Adelaide can actually get up and win. Cause Gold Coast Suns a little bit of strife over there. That's one upset I think could happen on the board. So we'll keep a close eye on that. All right, let's just pop over, have a little bit of a look at the player stats. Let's have a look at the goal scorers. We've got a few more. All singles, no multiples out on the ground at the moment. Jacob Van Ruin, Kaiser Pickett, Harrison, Petty, Jake Melsham, Fritz. All singles there for the D's. For the Pies, still side bottom. Lockie Schultz, Brody Meyer, Chet Braden, Maynard, Jamie Elliott, and of course Jordan DeGoey. All singles. Ball magnets. Look at that. 2, 4, 6, 7. Top 7 all from Melbourne. Christian Salem, Clayton Oliver, 16. There we go. It was good to see Clayton Oliver have a shot after the goal, but the ball just faded left through the behind. So that was handy for the Maggies. Jack Viney, 15. Petrarca, Gorn, Jack Bowie, all on 14. Jordan Ngoe tops the table for the Maggies with Josh Dacos and Nick Dacos, all on 13 apiece. A peach. 13 apiece for the fellas there. Of course, the old boy, Scotty Pendlebury, up to 12. McCreary also. Stephen May there, 9 disposals working out there for the Demons. All right, let's keep going down. We'll see how the rest are going. Who else we got? Maynard, still the 8 disposals, 1 goal. Fritz, 6 kicks for a goal also. I was having a look for the big man. I can't see. He must be up the top. Darcy Moore's not got a lot of possessions, but he's doing the spoils. He's just had the 4 so far. Daniel McStay needs to step up for the Magpies. He's only had 3 disposals, 1 kick, 1 behind where he had a bit of a kick off the ground. Went through for a behind. All right, there we go. Oh, Maxi Gorn there. I was going to have a look and see how his ruck work was going. 7 and 7. He's had 5 marks, a tackle, 14 hit-outs and 2 clearances. There we go for Max. All right, let's have a quick look at the team stats up until half-time. That hasn't loaded up before the commentators come back. There we go. 16 scoring shots to 8. Melbourne are actually in front in the disposals overall by 27. Just 1 more kick, but they've been handballing quite more frequently. There we go, plus 26. Inside 50s, Magpies again getting the ball inside forward 50 quite a lot. At least they're scoring a little bit more this week than last week. 28 inside 50s, 16 scoring shots. Just need to get that ball a little bit straight, a little bit more direct, and turn the goals higher than the points. That's what they want to see. 21 inside 50s there for the Demons for their 8 scoring shots, 7 scoring shots there. They're different. Both teams' disposal efficiency pretty good on the night, 74 and 76%. So both teams going all right there. Free kicks, umpires. Okay, so the umpires are round about 14 apiece. 14 apiece. All right, we'll come back to the rest of that in just a moment. Let's just head back down to the commentators.
So this was evident really early on. They've had a couple of kick-ins where they've went straight down the middle of the ground. They've opened their eyes to more options in the middle of the ground, and they haven't been polished. You know, there's been moments where they've come unstuck, and which we've talked about before, but I like to see them taking on this Collingwood defence, because we know if you allow them to get set, the slower ball movement, it is really hard to penetrate through layers of defence. So it's been a good sign early on.
It was instructive early that Darcy Cameron took a mark from a long ball in, and the very next ball went into the middle of the ground. Yeah, Max Gorn was sitting in the centre circle. But what happens, Nathan Buckley, as a result of really aggressive ball movement, gives the opposition a look?
Yeah, look, I think Melbourne, as you said, haven't been absolutely clean with it, but there haven't been many howlers either. But the times that they've tried to chain out, that's when Collingwood have been able to take advantage. And Collingwood do love this front half game where they can turn the ball over and then go back and score from that. And that's what we have seen. The Melbourne ball use hasn't been as predictable, so the defence have had to be on their toes. And 12 front half turnovers in the first quarter alone and 15 for the match so far. So that's a high number. 30 turnovers for a game is well over the competition average at the moment. Collingwood haven't gone back and made full toll of that, but they have been able to score pretty well from those front half turnovers.
Yeah, had they taken advantage by kickings, I think 2 goals 7 in the first quarter, had it been 7-2 or 6-3, then that looks a whole lot better. But, I mean, both teams, I think you're right. I mean, Melbourne need to find out whether they can play that sort of footy going forward.
And this number is a lot better than last week. You know, to go inside 71 times and not be able to get the job done last week. Yeah, the efficiency going in forward 50 would be a positive and something that Craig McRae would be discussing with his players.
So we talked about Gawn and Cameron. It's been fascinating watching the both of them go about it, Geordie.
Yeah, this is the battle within the game, how they position and where they position themselves. So as we see there, Cameron, so really trying to restrict, this is on Melbourne's ball movement. So Cameron set up down the line. Gawn has been an option inside the corridor. So that's where they're trying to move the ball clearly. And then it was flipped in the second quarter. Gawn was stuck down the line, and it seemed that Darcy Cameron was really trying to challenge him, and they were targeting. It was in a direct line to goal. You can see there, Gawn not necessarily matched up directly on his opponent. He knows where he is, but he can't get there because he might leave down the line open. But Collingwood challenge this, and I love that it's the matchup. They're challenging each other, and it was Gawn first quarter. Cameron second quarter.
It's a very similar attitude. So in offence, let's get our ruckman in a non-traditional position to challenge what the opposition defence is doing. But what we saw in that second quarter, Max Gawn on first 12 minutes, Melbourne 7-zip, go and score, and they get front half. Max Gawn goes off. Then Collingwood win the next 3 clearances and kick 3 goals from it. So his impact on the game, Max Gawn, has been significant.
John Ralph joins us. Ralphie, got a really interesting game here. Collingwood supporters sitting at home being a bit nervous right now. More nervous when you see Jeremy Howe sitting in the back row of the interchange box.
This is horrific timing. It is a confirmed groin injury for Jeremy Howe. Just to give you the last couple of weeks, so round 18, that Gold Coast groin injury. He missed 2 weeks. He was to come back in round 21. He was ill, so he couldn't progress his recovery. And then, of course, the next week, he got concussed in the early moments of that clash. So this club could play a final in 13, 14 days' time. He would not have played more than a half of football in 8 weeks. I don't need to tell you guys how important he is to the club. So the severity will be determined by scans, but that is not a player that's comfortable with his recovery.
No, that's terrible news, I think, for him.
Reid said pop, I reckon he said.
Yeah, perhaps. The Bailey Fritsch push, have you got any word yet?
Not yet, but it was a push, wasn't it? And that's the issue. When the AFL brought in this rule again in 2019, and here's the push on Perriman, they said you can place your hands in the back and then come back to the ball. So this is not on the list of Greg Swan's to-do list, not in the top 10 issues, but I think we're all confused by it. And more to the point, we're getting players suspended for pushing into the marking contest, guys. Is it a high priority? Is it a massive issue? Just something you'd like to see?
Hang on. Is it a push first, you two?
It's a push for me, yeah.
I think he worked his player out from the contest.
Yeah.
It's definitely not something to be looking at from a suspension perspective.
Definitely not. No, just something that the AFL should clarify. So we start jumping at the ball again rather than pushing in the back.
All right, nice work to you, from you, Ralphie. Keep on top of the Jeremy Howe situation. Hey, for Industry Super Fund, what are we looking forward to in the second half, boys?
Well, I think in Melbourne, we want to see them maintain the rage with their ball use. It hasn't been clean. It hasn't been that organised, but the intent is to move the ball off the line to be able to go through the corridor. There's some chains of handball that are taking place. Collingwood are definitely, their defence has been challenged by it. It's not as organised and it's in transition a little bit more. So I think that's definitely what Melbourne would want to continue with.
So 13 points to margin here at half-time. Got a game on our hands. We've got a situation that has affected 2 of our very, very big personalities in football. Jeff Brown and Sandy Roberts, very close to us here at Fox Footy, of course, have both had myeloma, which is a rare blood cancer disease. We want to raise money, we want to raise awareness, and they've been able to put their names to the cause.
I went to hospital to have scans on my ribs after a fall. They then told me that, yes, you've broken a couple of ribs, but you've also got this monster called myeloma. I had no idea, like so many other people around Australia and the world, just what exactly it was.
It's a very serious form of blood cancer which affects 22,000 people currently diagnosed, with about 80,000 undiagnosed walking around with the precursor to its smouldering myeloma. Our job at Myeloma Australia is to improve the quality of life for people who are suffering from myeloma and also lead us one day soon to a cure. Sandy and I are doers, but we're also healthy enough with this disease to be able to execute that enthusiasm.
Let's make an invisible disease in many ways visible. Let's bring the disease into light. If we could do that, I'd be very happy with that as a legacy.
Jeffrey Brown joins us. It's great to see him here. You look fit, healthy, you look 20 years younger.
Thanks, Gary. Well, I'm feeling great. It's great to be here watching my old side. This is the first game I've attended at as a guest of Collingwood this year. So great to see him out there.
We've seen a sport and football in particular rally behind the cause. What are we hoping to achieve here from this myeloma situation?
Well, as we know, like sport's an amazing conduit for messaging and has done so much for so many great causes, and the one, of course, MND comes to mind. Myeloma is an incurable form of blood cancer. In Australia, 27% of people die within the first 18 months of diagnosis, and only half live beyond 5 years. So we need to find some funds for research there. There's an amazing transformation taking place at the moment. It's so exciting, this move from chemotherapy to immunotherapy, which involves taking cells out of the body, engineering them in a lab, putting them back in, teaching them to fight cancer. We need funds to turbocharge that research. I'm actually on my way to Toronto in 3 weeks' time for a world conference with the haematologists, the best in the world, where we're rapidly turbocharging this immunotherapy.
And you were obviously a beneficiary of that research in the short term, but more to come?
Well, I am, Nathan, to the extent that I have multiple myeloma, and I was actually diagnosed in August just before our 2023 finals campaign, or before the preliminary final. So I've got the disease. I'm actually one of the lucky ones. I've actually a 1%er in the sense that I've come through and reacted really well to it. But I know now I've got to get in and put my shoulder in and help the many people that aren't so lucky.
Well, anyone that has suffered should be feeling heartened by the fact that you've put your name to it, because I know you're a force of nature when you put your mind to something. Sandy will be watching, is a great friend of ours, Sandal, so I hope you're going well as well. And we want to raise some funds as well. That's the most important thing.
Well, we want to raise awareness and funds, and a big shout out to Sandy Roberts, a much loved person in the football community. And let's not remember, we lost Dale Tapping, who we all know very recently to myeloma, a fairly young man with a young family. So it's not only... it doesn't discriminate. It can attack anybody at any time. So,
yep, it's a great cause. We appreciate you coming on and fronting up, and good luck when you head over to Toronto. Good luck for your Magpies in the coming weeks.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Nathan. Thanks,
Jeff Brown joining us there. The details are there. Donate wherever possible, and that would be much appreciated. Half-time here at the MCG, all on the line here. Top four spot for the Collingwood Footy Club. They must win. 13 points of margin in favour of the Magpies. Big second half to come.
You're watching Friday Night Footy on Fox. Brought to you by Industry Super Funds.
What's for dinner?
I don't know. What is for dinner? There we go. A little bit of a wrap-up. Tina, Shouty, managers in-house. There we go. Come and start dinner. All right, let's get back to where were we? The team stats, the stoppages, hit-outs. Of course, Melbourne leading the way. Maxi Gordon doing a good job there, 14-10 there. +4, the clearances, all pretty well even in total. They're +1 to Melbourne. Pies doing a little bit better job out of the centre, though. There we go. 8-4, +4, so they'll be pretty happy with the way their mids are doing out of the centre. Bounce there to call stoppage clearances. Melbourne on top there, 11-6. They're +5. Contested game, well, Melbourne again will be happy. Magpies need to lift their game, I tell you what. There we go, 69-56, +13 uncontested. Melbourne again, turnovers. Pies pretty well on season average. Melbourne a little bit higher there on that. Looking at the marks, 62-54, +8 to Melbourne, but marks inside 50. This is where the Magpies are doing a great job. 10 marks inside 50 up until half-time. Fantastic effort there. Season average 13. Melbourne only 3 defenders for the Pies, working well. Contested marks around the ground there, 3-9. Melbourne actually winning contested mark in the air. Look at the tackle count. This is just horrendous for both sides. Tackle count, I tell you what, Collingwood, they're going for a top 4 spot. They need to lift this game. Collingwood has been known when they've been absolute flying, Paul, for their pressure, and this is not going to cut the mustard. That is not going to work. 18 tackles up until half-time. That is, I tell you what, I can't remember seeing two teams having tackle count so low up until half a game. 18-16 +2 to the Pies. That should be up around 30, 32, 34 each. Up around there. 3 inside 50 tackles to the Maggies, none yet to Melbourne. I tell you what, Pies, if they want to go further in in the finals coming up. I tell you what, they need to lift their tackle count. There we go. There is the live ladder. There we go. There is the live ladder. Now, we've got, just having a look at the ladder and the game still to play. By the way, folks, my good big upset tip is leading at the moment. Port Adelaide, I've tipped them over the Gold Coast Suns. They're 2-2-14, leading the Gold Coast Suns 1-5-11. Suns having a little bit of struggle to kick straight as well. 24 minutes into the opening term over there at Adelaide Oval, and it's Port Adelaide by 3 points. There we go. Just having a little bit of a look. Where are we? I did have this up. Let me bring it up again. Just having a look at just for the Collingwood folks and the Gold Coast folks. Of course, if the Gold Coast lose this game, like as I said, I did tip Port Adelaide. That'll be fantastic news for, well, especially for, let me think. I don't know. The teams above them, but the teams above them still need to win. Because the Gold Coast have got that extra game. Of course, we've got that game. We've got Adelaide playing North Melbourne. We will predict Adelaide will win that game. So Adelaide, I think, will end up on top of the AFL ladder, minor premiers. We've got Geelong, Richmond. Geelong should win that by a handsome margin. So it's going to be Adelaide, Geelong, I feel, 1-2 on the ladder by the end of the season. And of course, West Coast Eagles make no difference. The GWS St Kilda playing that up at Engie Stadium. There we go. Gold Coast must have just hit the front because they've just jumped into the top 8. Let me crack that score. 2-5-17 the Gold Coast Suns. 2-2-14 Port Adelaide. There we go. That is the live ladder. Seeing it as it's happening, folks. All right, let's have a quick look at the. I've only got a minute to go. All right, there we go. So that is the case. GWS Giants, they're playing St Kilda. I know the Giants are going all right, but hey, let's not write off St Kilda. That could be the fly in the ointment. Rossi Lyon might be having a little bit of a chuckle in the box if they can topple the GWS Giants. I think that's possible, St Kilda beating GWS Giants. And for that, well, I tell you what, depends on the margin there. 7%, still a big margin between GWS and Freo. If St Kilda can win by 10 goals, hey, stranger things have happened. Then Freo could possibly lose in a tight game and still remain in the top 8. Western Bulldogs, Fremantle, of course, that's going to be mighty, mighty hard for the Western Bulldogs not to win that game. It's going to be at Marvel Stadium, but this is where two good teams, that should be a ring-a-ding-ding game. I think... I tell you what, Freo will be very happy to take a draw in that game. They'll be happy to take a draw. As long as they don't lose, they'll make the finals. Brisbane and Hawthorn there. I think that's a game where Hawthorn can beat Brisbane up there at the Gabba. So I think you'd probably... they've still got a game to go, 64. So there we go. It could possibly be... I don't know. If my predictions are right and Port Adelaide win, I think Adelaide, Geelong... I tell you what, I don't know. Collingwood, Hawthorn for third and fourth, and then maybe Brisbane, Gold Coast, fifth, sixth, and that's still, I tell you what, I thought I had it worked out. But she's tricky, folks, she's tricky. So we're going to have to wait until, we'll probably have to wait until Wednesday to actually find out who is going to be where on this ladder. All right, hey, that's enough for me. Let's get bang down to the action for the bounce of the ball for the second half. It's the Magpies by 13.
Can the Magpies make an early statement? Gone. He's looking to stay in it to Goey. Threatening every time he goes near the ball. Pickett, slick of hand to Oliver. Chandler, he is a long kick, but he trying to cut it off with a short Moore. Was sawing it off instead with his fist. Back to Pickett again via Cully. And Chandler again, this time with a better sight and more momentum. Tries to drill the ball for Melksham. The ball kept going and going, but it's a free kick.
Gee, how much better is that from Darcy Moore? Just to see him up on a leading player right inside his jumper and getting a fist away. And there's the nudge and the work under the footy from Jake Melksham.
You want that one, Pace. Maynard just side bottom. Slow play for Perryman.
Elliott may resume that match up down the line.
Oh, there's not much space left there, and Cameron does a good job.
Oh, that must have been close.
So his counterpart is the 50-metre target down the line, Max Gawn.
And the last thing he wants to do is kick it to him.
That's it. Very reluctant to put it anywhere near there. Soften the kick well for Nick Dacos.
It's a really good kick from Darcy Cameron in the end.
Picks off what he's given. Crisp.
So Melbourne need to be aware that they're not going to go to Max. Therefore, anyone else needs to be aware.
Crisp sets it up to the hot spot, kept it clear of Max, and in the middle, it is well marked by Turner. Turner out the near side for Salem.
Just trust his kicking skills. Same for Bowie and now Oliver. Doesn't quite have the same reliability, but that's an easy one to pick up.
We're going to run into the same problem here with Cameron down the line. So this is the game we play.
Salem at his best. All Australian squad in their premiership year. Fine kick. He needs Van Rooyen to fly at the front. Or more has the last say. And he gets buffeted around. Sparrow straight to Cameron. Reflexes were good, but not that good. Finey. That'll work for Melksham. Highs well stocked to hand. So go. Oh, Sparrow. Huge swing and a miss. Finey with the instep. Down goes Fritch ahead, the 40 from Houston. Safely enough gobbled up by Josh Dacos. Gorn worked the angles and had the energy, and he might have hurt himself.
It's personal between these two right now. He saw that Darcy Cameron was half a chance, and he closed big time. He's the most influential player here. He's the man that Collingwood have got to fear most.
Melksham, Van Rooyen and Frampton.
Well, that's inexcusable. Long kick goes forward. Not one player competed.
Frampton got himself into a spot of bother. Now Houston has to get Collingwood out of it. Narrow kick, Schultz. Oh, he got the clip around the ear. As McVie had a mind to rush it to goal. Nick Dacos presents. So our ruckmen are together at centre half forward. They're a long way from the action at the moment. Side of the centre square. Long gets it going Collingwood's way. Melbourne triangulate it, nearly muck it up. Turner. Clayton. Oliver works it away to Salem and Pickett's. Gawn set himself. 2 marks in a row against Cameron, and the roll and go. Tries to set it up. Moore got a hand in to keep it away from Van Rooyen. Side bottom is there to tidy up again. McCreary races ahead to the option.
Darcy Moore's feeling it. He's got his defensive position starting spot. He's starting spot right.
I was just thinking the same, Gary, knowing that Howe's off the ground. He knows he has to lead down there. High ball. Elliott! Oh, he's got it! Jamie Elliott is soaring best. A Friday night ride for Jamie Elliott. To the square. Schultz, Gorn. At the back.
You got Darcy Moore feeling it. Stephen May's not feeling it down the other end. Jamie Elliott's a nightmare for him.
Too tall for Petrarca. And now Houston.
Set Collingwood up. Play out wide. So it's a steal, a sub. And after half-time. Steele had a bit about him in that Carlton game on a Friday night. That's a lovely kick from McStay.
So you know what? Defensively, and this goes for both sides, when you got your ruckman that comes back into the hole and he's such a massive presence, you know teams will want to go around you. This is the mark from Jamie Elliott, which is just outstanding. So there's Max Gawn standing right in the middle of that 50. You know they're not going to him. So defend the next space, which is exactly where he went.
Just 2 goals in 6 weeks. Dan McStay won't add to that. He won't even score. And Langford's a chance to bring the D's away on a counter-attack. Van Rooyen's got to stand tall. Couldn't haul it in. Side bottom, sets up Perryman, checks his kick for Elliott.
Maynard tells him to slow down and just go and have a good look at it.
Around the perimeter, Perryman.
I like the way Maynard defended that on Van Rooyen as well.
Let's play it out wide, see if McStay can get a leap. McDonald kept it away from him. Cully swallowed up underneath. All in fierce disputes.
It does appear like Collingwood's back six have said, righto, we know that Howe's not there, we'll defend one-on-one here and take responsibility for a man. Moore's done it twice. Maynard just did it then with Van Rooyen.
So Maynard playing up on Van Rooyen. All the spare as it stands at the moment. If it rushes out of there, which it does, Frampton and Melksham just a little grasp.
That's 4 wins the defence has had. 4 big wins against Melbourne's forwards in the first part of this third quarter.
Pies by 13. And they work their way back through the middle to Moore. There's no one anywhere near him. Straightens things up. McCreary is the designated target because he realises that. Turner keeps it away from Elliott. Now he's usually pretty composed and a fine ball user. Clocks the kick for Van Rooyen, who didn't get the chance to complete the juggle. Instead, up to Long to deal. And to go to just wheel his way through, back through Perryman's hands. Pickett ready for the next. Petrarca couldn't stick the tackle. Perryman, this time they stop Elliott getting any sort of run at the footy, and with that comfort takes it and sends it to Pickett and hopes so high that he can create from centre half back.
They got no forward representation, so sideways at the minute.
Bowie, Fritsch, Oliver and Cully are running ahead. What's Fritsch going to do? Longer. Melksham's going to have 2 to fly against, including Moore. He at least made the spoil. Petrarca keeps it in disputes. Gave it up, though, at the last. Houston close and Steele again.
What an experience for Steele. Just his third game. Started as the sub. Give them that extra run. They are chasing a big score later. Dacos to Goey. Wants to give it back, but Pickett was awake to that possibility. Gawn goes kick down the line. He's avoided with the kick. Cameron was the target, didn't mark, and Melbourne can go hard. Langford to Finey. Melksham was the only target, and the target was struck after 3 juggles. Well done, Jake Melksham.
Gee, I'm glad he hit the target because he had Christian Petrarca running past for the hand pass in all sorts of space, but an opportunity here. And the D's need this. They need Melksham to convert.
So keep a close eye on McCreary. Melksham had that purple patch, 14 goals in 3 weeks. That has slowed over the last 5 with 6 goals, but it will take a 45-metre snap, which he just can't quite execute.
Well, he outsmarted himself. He was trying to get Frampton offside for a 50-metre penalty. This is McCreary, who's rolled the ankle, we think. So it's just adding up a little bit.
Maynard just halted in his progress, so to go he lends a hand.
Do you think the drop punt will ever come back in fashion, Gaz?
not in our time, Jeff.
Perryman May favoured as Lyacek stumbled. And Melbourne gets some run through the middle. Bowie, they were queuing up next to him. He advanced the cause, but not to good effect. And Crisp with a lovely steal works it away. Houston sets the Pies up. Schultz with the quick release. Steele has a look. Elliott's all on his own. Myercheck's deep. Shallow goes the kick. And Membering.
Well, you've got to score when you turn a footy over like that, like Melbourne did in that part of the ground. You've got to be able to go back and hit them hard the other way. They've got there eventually. 57 handballs Melbourne the first quarter, 34 the second. It's just dropping off. And Collingwood know that they're coming inside and they're just setting up and chopping them off at the moment.
30 goals in 20 games coming here tonight as a Magpie. The bulk of his career played at St Kilda. Tim Membry in game 200. Looking for the first goal of the third term. Just wouldn't hold its line long enough. 13-point margin.
How do you feel the Tools have gone tonight for the Magpies? It was a tough game for them last week.
Okay. I mean, it's a low-scoring game, 6 goals to 5. So they've had some good looks. They haven't taken opportunities everywhere, as we've talked about all night. But Myercheck, I suspect, might be playing.
I think he's definitely troubled by that wrist. It's affected his body work as well.
Rich hits Oliver and then Petrarca, but on the bounce. Degree of difficulty just rising a little. A rolling-looking run from Rivers. The hands not too strong. Josh Dacos is there, guarding. His kick is heavy for Lipinski. It's close enough to, make sure that it wasn't.
They had numbers everywhere there, inside 50 degrees, and they rushed it. They didn't quite get the perfect hand pass. They didn't put someone into space to have time to look. And in the end, they blew a certain goal.
It's not as natural, Jace, it's fair to say, the connection. And then Rivers running onto him left foot and then just didn't look like connecting.
Still some worries for Craig McRae as the Demons attack. Gaunt, long, tried to patter her away. McVie didn't take possession. It's effective. 40 metres closer to goal. Melksham to give. Pickett, they need a rise. Who better to turn to than Cozzy. A deserving hug. It's the spark for Melbourne. And maybe their hope as well. It's back to 7. He's kicked his second.
So, Jason, tell me this. If you can't connect as a forward line, what's wrong with putting it on the ground?
On the ground.
Put it on the ground and bring him into play. So,
provided your forwards know what they're doing and they play in front, you get first look, guys.
4 times they've tried to connect in the air and didn't look like it. That all of a sudden becomes the most dangerous inside 50 ball Melbourne have had this quarter.
Yeah, Hutto mentions it might be the spark Melbourne need. It might be the spark that Cozzy Pickett needs as well to really inject himself into the game. It's a goal out of nothing. It's against the run of play.
Be happy to get this ball to ground against this defence.
Yeah.
When we look down there right now, this is a defence who love the ball in the air. We know that Moore will come off his man. We know Frampton does. So sure they like it on the deck.
That's 40 for the season for Cozzy. It's the 3rd time he has reached that threshold. His career best is 41.
The goal took 12.5 minutes too.
Gawn trying to create something out of the middle. Sparrow came from the wing. Gawn releases Oliver. Pumps it forward for Rivers. Had a little look inboard. Oliver trying to get it to Petrarca initially. Took the high contact. Advantage paid. Langford right to the teeth of goal. Cozzy watches it go through. What a strike from one of the rising stars. And it is a 1-point ball game as the tension grows.
We're certainly getting a look at what Troy Chaplin wants to do as a coach, aren't we? It still didn't look natural, Gaz, but they're putting the opposition under pressure by moving it quickly, trying to link up with hands. And in the end, I think Langford's going, well, should we stop or should I take advantage? And he virtually had the decision made for him by the umpire. It's that one there, not quite knowing what to do, not quite putting a teammate into space. And in the end, oh, do I have to play on or kick it from 50 off one step?
Everyone had stopped. I just wonder whether the rumours of Oliver's demise have been a little bit premature. This is as good as I've seen him run and carry today.
Jono, you heard it, the cheer for the Magpie faithful down there.
Yeah, Bo McCreary's just in a bit of trouble at the moment. He's just being assessed the last 5 minutes by the physio and doctor. Been down to the rooms once, heading that way once again with an ankle injury.
Okay, keep an eye on that. Dacos can't prevail out of theirs. Free kick either way.
That's not very encouraging at all. To come up, get the fresh assessment and head straight back down.
Lost Jeremy Howe. Great tackling from Cully. Shut down penalty, no less. Fumble in the middle from Howes. Enables Lipinski to get a little further Collingwood's way. Still industrious around the footy, the Magpies and the Demons. And it's Salem to Langdon. It's a hack-looking kick, but as it turns out, Petty Prop, and he's tempted to pass. He takes the longer of the two. Fritsch has to rise. And it was adequate enough.
How many times do we see the chaos kick inside 50 work better than trying to set something up?
The hack-looking kick looked more dangerous than any other kick.
Particularly when the forward continues to play in front.
So this is a challenge for the Pies here. So this is for 3 goals in a row. The only 3 goals of the third term. They got Howe out of the game. They got McCreary, so they're 1 down on the bench. This is a question that's been asked.
Strong form over the last 5 weeks. And needed to. He set it for his lowest goal tally in 5 years, most likely tonight, Bailey Fritsch. But this is a precious kick. This to put the Demons back in front. And those little wobbly moments are starting to grow with Fritsch's double from a Magpie point of view.
It's a simple part of forward craft. You play in front. It's your starting point. It's the base of everything that's building up. You have to be in front to start with, and then you make the decision. So Billy Frampton is sitting a few metres off Harrison Petty because he's looking to read, he's looking to peel off if the kick comes over the top, but it's a tumble punt that falls short. And you have a look at it here. Have a look at Billy Frampton. He's sitting off ready to work back to give his other teammates a chop out. He's going, oh, man, how can I stop that? Well, you can't.
That's the modern-day defender, Jace.
Yep.
The modern-day defender doesn't defend one-on-one. They defend space, and they come off their man to mark intercept, to take intercept marks. The message and it is clear and obvious.
Gawn had a chat to the runner and decided not to come to the bench but to go forward instead to take his rest. Van Rooyen's in the right, releases Cully, might kick it to Gawn. They all set up. Gawn's got it. Couldn't quite release to Chandler. Gets a second go and Rivers hangs it high and wide.
Oh, boy. Well, first thing first, if Max is going to go forward, get it in the air to him. Cully does that. He did a brilliant job to crumb it twice and provide a scoring opportunity.
Clearance is a massive issue for Collingwood. 5-1, they scored a 3-zip out of the middle of Melbourne.
He's getting a little uneasy down on that Collingwood bench. Clearance dominance turning into a couple of goals so far in this quarter for Melbourne. Steele pushed off his line.
Got to contest the ball. Stand.
And Sparrow for not contesting the ball. So Rowan Steele, all right for him. Already one man down and maybe a second. Up and under, Membry and May.
He's had some moments, Stephen May. He had a terrible first half, taking 3 marks this quarter.
A little bit of confidence coming back into his game.
Rivers. Where to next? Scaring the horizon. Finds Bowie.
Big Max lurking forward. Get it down to him.
Cully is also going to there for the side. There's Gawn through Pickett. Fritz. Houston was about to be nabbed. Clearing kick. Shoots in front. Turner had him covered. Side bottom. Not a lot of time. Summed it up long. Back to Houston. Here the long kick. Tumbles to the wing. Awkward for Howes. Bowie's got a lot of work to do. Myercheck. Elliott. Goals Beckham. Membry waiting. It's taking time. Brings in Nick Dacos. And as cool as you would imagine to Lipinski. Good dedicated work though by Sparrow. Running hard. Gets back. Provides the help needed. There's energy from the Demons. You can see it on the bench. You can see it in their fans. You can see it in their stars out on the MCG.
Nice Falcon because he figured, but how good was Tom Sparrow running back with the flight?
Can Collingwood get a steady up? Nick Dacos goes to work to go. He would be just the man to do it. It doesn't have quite enough. McDonald would like to get that through and did. 3 unanswered goals Melbourne's way in this term thus far.
Both experienced teams at the top end. Salem. Cully. Perryman does enough.
So that to me is actually not a bad outlet kick. You're getting someone that has the advantage in the air. You get a good contest, stoppage, set up, rather than kicking to the big pack, which is where Collingwood have just preyed on them and brought it back quickly inside 50.
Gawn now is having the complete rest. McStay, stylish take to Penbury. He didn't take possession, looking for a free, doesn't get it. Bowie shoots it out. Langford, Langdon, Pickett's in the 50. One-on-one with Maynard, joined by Fritz. Pulls up.
Well, they started chaining out by hand again. In the first quarter, they looked as dangerous as they have all year when they were linking up by hand. It deserted them in the second quarter. And now from here, they look dangerous again.
The umpire was right onto the mark. Fritz ran about 5 metres with the ball before he pulled up. But the umpire's pinged it. In actual fact, he marked it on the 50. He's a yard inside, but really good spotting from the umpire.
Nervous moment now. Bailey Fritz. Melbourne already lead by 5. This for a third. Oh, good looking strike. And nothing changes as it clears everyone. What an inspired performance by the Demons. And Collingwood find themselves in a game where they need to win. But they have hopes of a double chance. Under serious threat now. Injury and an 11-point deficit.
They kicked 7 goals from stoppage. Melbourne, 7 goals to 1 from stoppage. Now it's 1 goal 6, so that's where the pain is from a Collingwood point of view. And then that one, it comes from turnover. So this has been a terrific quarter of footy. The ball movement's been great. And you take your chances like this is what Collingwood didn't take in the first quarter. That's as Melbourne couldn't kick a goal for love nor money in the first half of the year, and now you're banging them from outside 50.
The stakes just sit so heavily over this. It's a parochial Collingwood crowd that has been silenced by 4 Melbourne goals in this third term. There's a lot to manage, and have a look at this live ladder. So Collingwood's percentage slips below Hawthorn, and Gold Coast are closing as they lead, and Melbourne are coming strong again. Round ball, Josh Dacos, over he goes. So got their problems. Langford and Langdon and Petty held up by the captain.
They're at every loose ball at the moment. Every ground ball, every loose ball. Melbourne are leading their opponents to the footy.
And McCreary trying just to see what mobility he has. Chris clears the area. Mychek doesn't have it, so it's in Melbourne clutches again. Van Ryan and McVie. Oh, he just sold them a pup. Blasts it up inside the 50. Moore's in the middle, kept away from it. Sparrow playing for the Storm.
I'll take it.
Melbourne went down by a point on the King's birthday. At the end of that, there were sources of lament, a rush of blood from Fritsch late in that game. He's kept his nerve to kick 3 so far. Suddenly they threaten. Cossey's on the move. Kept it away from Pendlebury. Pickett's got it. Fashioned a kick. Now what can Melksham do? Not enough to unseat Billy.
That's 50. Has to be 50. He didn't go back the 9 metres, Jake Nelson. He just stood there oblivious to what was going on.
How could you have played so many years and not know that rule?
Caught up in the moment, but it's costly, and it just releases the pressure now.
And there's plenty of that around for Collingwood. With 4 minutes now remaining in this third quarter. Long. Haven't kicked a goal since the 24-minute mark of the second term. Quainer. The spread. All over the MCG. Steele. Takes off Lukatu to Lipinski. All outside 5. So that'll get them a little bit closer. Same again to Long. It's the next one that matters most. Mychek back in the square. McDonald watching him. Kick goes into DeGoey. DeGoey's got it. Holds on. That's to the disappointment of Petrarca.
Disappointment. Christian Petrarca had the play on the ball that you want. Smash it into the 15th row and take a body with you.
Yep.
And didn't jump.
So it's Jordan DeGoey. Starting to look a lot more like him in that first half. Collingwood need him desperately. They just can't get a straight kick out of anyone, it seems, tonight. At the moment, there's too much.
Massive problem for them. 6 goals, 12. That's a good sign, though, Jordan DeGoey's had 3 or 4 or 5 moments where September footy on the horizon, he's ready for it.
17 inside 50s to 9 for the term. It feels like a qualifying final those years ago. But I've got some goals from it tonight. Bowie onto the footy, dragged off it by Chris, and he gets himself a shot at goal.
That is a great tackle.
Yeah, he threw the foot at it. He was desperate to get a toe on it, but he couldn't. He was dragged off it. And this is the sort of return that we saw Collingwood getting so much of in the first half of the season. Their pressure in their attacking 50.
Chase, this is the biggest kickers it's been for the game so far. They've given up 4 in a row. The margin just has creeped down, not insurmountable 11 points, but for their confidence to miss this would be awful.
He has always known how to kick a crucial goal. Jack Crisp to meet that moment, head on. Against the flowing tide. The Magpies push back.
Well, they've been in these situations so many times. I know their close game record in recent matches is not where they want it to be, but they know what to do. There's no panic on the bench. There's no panic out on the ground at the moment. This is what happens. You've got to stay in the contest, remain in the contest. You've turned a potential defensive 50 exit into a shot at goal. And Chris takes the opportunity. It's just come at exactly the right time for the Magpies.
So Jack Crisp, isn't it too? Winning it the hard way. Kicked a big goal late last week to give him the chance, which they weren't ultimately able to take. It's 4 goals, 5 from set shots. Their misses have all been from tough angles. McRae is riding each and every one at the moment. That is understandable. It's back to 5. Ball up favours Cameron. Little backhander, Petrarca. Chris now in there as a tackle. Other side of the ball. And can get it out of the maddening crowd. Dacos, Langdon. The second skip.
Dacos had 20 possessions. Still the leading possession winner on the ground from a Collingwood point of view. They're making him earn them all.
That's watching Josh at the moment.
Holding Melbourne. Advantage.
Advantage. How significant? Petrarca tries to shape it back. Fritsch and Petty, free rein for Queenie.
I don't know what happened to Bailey Fritsch. Then he ran away from the footy and slipped over.
Glenn wants Chris. Here's lifting the Pies. Sweeps his hand pass up into the middle. Long took them on and took a little while and coughed it up. Gorn and Oliver conspire. Fritsch is the target. Getting back deep is Petty. The shallow is Melksham.
So Melbourne's opportunity now to punish the Collingwood turnover. Good pressure through the middle of the ground. Max Gorn, quick hands, didn't panic, got it back inside. And that allowed the ball to go to Fritsch, who then turned around and had plenty of options. Melksham on the short lead. And this time, he's a couple of metres further out from where he went around the corner earlier. He's going to try and drop punt this time. Old-fashioned, but let's hope it comes off.
He's looking for his second. It would be his best year around the sticks if he lands it. Jake Melksham to restore some order for Melbourne. It's a thumping good kick. The Melbourne fans who have turned out for one more throw in 2025 have been richly rewarded at the moment.
Oh, you wonder why they don't do it more often, Gaz.
He had the ifs there for a little while, Jakey Melksham, and so he might have turned to the round the corner just to get him back into some rhythm.
So Oliver involved again with a good kick in the middle of the ground, Gaz, but found Fritsch.
Yeah, I think this has been as good an outing as he's had for a while. So he's had 5 score involvements. He's never going to slice you to pieces like a Lipinski going forward, but it just appears in the last month to have been some... he's been timing the ball better than his work around stoppage and clearance, and he seems to be running harder and stronger.
So Hawthorn ahead of them in the live ladder. Collingwood, if they lose, likely to finish 7th or 8th. 7th if Brisbane win, 8th if Hawthorn win. That's if other results go as expected. It's a long way off at the moment. Dacos, desperate handball to Goey. Out to side bottom, all the big names, but it doesn't work for them this time. Chandler off the right boot. Penny and Frampton tight in the air, close to the line. Melbourne with that attacking frame of mind at the moment. Try to keep it in. Melbourne 65. Collingwood 54. Third quarter, which has produced 5 Melbourne goals. 34 seconds to see if they can get another. Gone. Petrarca pushes off. Can't connect with Langford. Mitchell came in a rush. Clearing ball, Perryman. Tough wrestle from Turner. Quick hands for good hands. To Goey. Clear enough of mind to identify Elliott. 15 seconds, more than enough time. Lipinski's the deepest, back to Goey again. This is the kick. And that's the one. Lipinski, one arm was all he needed.
What a mark, under pressure.
I need you right here, Jake. 1 more metre.
If you came here tonight as a Collingwood fan, expecting an easy ride, a win, a confidence boost, a percentage boost against a team with nothing to play for, think again. Patrick Lipinski knows that all too well right now. A premiership player who started as a sub in that grand final win. He's been reliable. He sets goals up. Time now for him to convert. Late in the third, and it doesn't happen. It's been a consistent narrative. So they will have a 10-point handicap as we head to the final term.
5 goals to 1 Melbourne's way in that third term, and Collingwood with it all to do. Tomorrow, Adelaide take their turn after a tumultuous week. They're in Melbourne to face North Melbourne, and they must nail down the minor premiership.
All right, there we go. 3/4 time. Mr. D is hitting back 10-point margin at 3/4 time, putting on 5 goals, 2. Not a bad quarter there from Melbourne. The Magpies 1 goal, 3. Tell you what, Magpies are just left flat-footed. It's not that Melbourne are playing that good. It's just Collingwood are playing that bad, folks. They're playing, well, yeah, there we go. I tell you what, I hope they turned on when they hit the finals. Actually know what they're playing for, because they're playing for a top 4 spot, and looking at the ladder at the moment, they've dropped down to 5th. They've dropped down to 5th. Of course, Gold Coast leading. They're up to 6th at the moment. So they've got a top 4 spot up for grabs if they win. But I tell you what, Paul, it's woeful. We're in for a ring-a-ding-ding final quarter. Maybe this is what the Magpies need, a little bit of pressure to get them actually firing in this final term. Bailey Fritchtow tops the chart with 3 goals for Melbourne. Kaiser Pickett with 2 and Jake Melcham with 2. Jacob Van Ruin, Petty and Langford also 1 apiece for Melbourne for the Pies. Side bottom Schultz, Mychek, Maynard, Elliott, DeGoey, Crisp, all singles. Tell you what, their forwards are struggling down there this evening. Disposal, Magnus, Christian Salen, Clayton Oliver, 23 apiece, going all right there for the Ds. DeGoey and Nick Dacos, 21 for the Magpies. Let's just roll down. If you have a look at that, what have we got? 2, 4, 5, 7 of the top 9 all Melbourne players. There we go. Just not enough pressure. Not enough pressure from the Pies, what they used to do, Paul. Tell you what it's going to take for them to actually get into gear and get this game rolling. Peaked too early in the season. Tell you what, they might have. They just don't seem to have that confidence going around. They're just not connecting well enough. Haven't got that run. It's just exactly what it doesn't look like what they've got. Of course, they've been absolutely woeful in the past few weeks of football. Even last week. Look, last week was a really interesting game against Adelaide where they had a million inside 50s, but they just kept bombing it. At least they're trying to lower their eyes, find targets tonight, so that's a little bit better. But their work rate, I think, their work rate is just still too low. Their pressure. Hey, saying that, let's just go down and have a look at the tackle count because we know how bad the tackle count was for both of these teams. Hang on, that doesn't load it up. Let's head back down to the tackle count. If it's going to load up. Where is it? Tackles, there we go. It was 18 to 16, I think. I think it was 18 to 16 at half time, so they put on 13 tackles there. There we go to 9 tackle. That is disgraceful by 2 AFL sides. Both their pressure is just horrendous. 31 to 25. And they should be up around 60, 70. 60, 70. They should be up at around 48 tackles already. Melbourne should be up around. They should be up around 40 as well. So both teams, their tackles. The only good thing for the Pies, they're small forwards. They're doing the tackle work inside forward 50. But around the ground, the pressure, I need to do that a little bit more often. All right, let's just roll back up. There we go. As you can see, marks inside 50, 15 to 8 there. Turnovers, not too bad for both teams, I guess. Melbourne leading plus 16 in contested possessions. Centre clearance, I think it was 8 to 4 at half time. 8 to 9, I think Melbourne won all 5 centre clearances in that term there. Free kick, umpires doing reasonably well, I think. I think they're doing reasonably well. Disposals, they're plus 36 are Melbourne for the game so far. So just having a look at that other game that's being played there at the moment. It's the Gold Coast Suns, second quarter over there at Adelaide Oval. It's the Gold Coast Suns 5-9-39. They're leading Port Adelaide 4-6-30. It's the Gold Coast Suns by 9 points, Paul. 9 points. And of course, with the Gold Coast, if they end up winning that game, they'll be up here into 6th, almost 5th. It just depends on this game also. If the Pies drop any more score, then the Gold Coast will go above them if the Gold Coast happen to win, most likely. So there we go. As I said, Collingwood could pretty much drop down to 7th or 8th by the end of this round, which is not really good. They don't get the double chance. And I tell you what, you wouldn't want to be playing Gold Coast Suns in your home final, in your first final at the Gold Coast Suns. That is for sure and certain. All right, let's head back down to the ground. I think we're in for a ring-a-ding-ding, nail-biting final quarter here. It's Melbourne by 10 points. Can the Pies get up for victory and secure a top 4 spot? We'll have to wait and see. All right, folks, let's head back down to the boundary for the final quarter.
Running out of troops in the last quarter.
He's just wanted out by McCreary, so he'll start the game. So that is one positive. Talk about metres gained by hand. So handball change. Melbourne 124 metres in the third quarter. Collingwood 1. The run has just dried up for the Pies.
McCreary's grabbed his headbands. Every man must serve. Collingwood have to find a way to stop the free fall. Oliver's been so influential. Fed it up to Rivers, and Melbourne are on the move immediately. More from behind to make the spoil.
Melbourne.
Gave away the free kick. Melksham.
51 metre inside.
Oh, he had Petrarca too slow.
He had Langford first and then Petrarca as shallow entries.
I think he can go the journey here.
His career best was back in 2018 goals in a season. He has eclipsed that. That was 32. His tonight's 2 make it 33. Jake Melksham from downtown. That won't be scoring. It might be marked though.
That dangerous off the side of the booter.
Had it. Couldn't quite finish it. Back onto it. Langdon. Fritsch is busy. Back to the hot spot. Pendlebury's got to take the safe catch.
Which he does. And reliably, that's the best option for Hampton. A little bit of space to work in for Big Billy. Spearing ball for Moore on the same wavelength. Takes it, heads off. A tester for McCreary. Stretches out. Bombs away. Elliott, May. And May lets his defensive instincts kick in. And look at the Demons get around each other back there in defence.
He hit that hard in the third quarter, Stephen May, after getting his colours lowered. And that's not a mark. Nearly.
Very close. And a good part of it.
Yeah, close to it. Just need to take it to the ground.
40 metres out from goal. He waits at the front. Gordon gets the tap though. McVie just jabbed it on the boot with a sixth sense. And number 35. Early tunes. Pulls the kick. Wasn't really what the big guys were ready for. The D's were a dangerous spoil in the lap of McStay. But that's just the way life is going at the moment. Is that through? Oh, no play on. Oh, now it is. Was there pressure?
That was a comedy of errors. They had 3 players that could have marked at the D's. One spoiled straight to a Collingwood player in the goal square on his own, and then has it smothered off the boot.
It's breathtaking that McStay didn't manage to get a goal out of all of that. It would have been precious too at the start of this final term. Langford. The contour of the boundary takes the yardage on off. A big leap from Melksham. He is feeling it. Viney brings it inside. Intuitive to Petrarca. Works it on down. Langdon off to Rivers. Got around Pendlebury. Checked the kick. Not 15. Sparrow the quick release. And Petrarca to take the shots.
How clever was that? There were Collingwood players back. Frampton sitting out the back. They didn't panic. Every time a Melbourne player got the ball, he wanted to go forward, but said, I can't. So he bought time. That little kick off the outside was very good from Rivers. And then Swallow finds a little chip over the top.
Yeah, they're all in the back half. They're all getting back to Christian Salem. They put the smother on back on McStay, back in the goal square. Now over to a man that's kicking has just deserted him to some degree.
Christian Petrarca to make the Collingwood headaches migraines. Comes up with a true boot. And Melbourne are here to demonise the Pies.
Put some pressure back on this Collingwood side. No panic just yet, but that's as good a ball movement. And there have been moments through the course of this game where it's been as good a ball movement by Melbourne as there has been for the year. Just the chain of handballs. We talked about how many metres gained there were by hand in that third quarter. And as you said, there's Frampton deep in the hole. Can't blaze away. That hasn't always been Melbourne's MO when they've gone forward. So some composure, some ball movement. And it's been an enjoyable watch.
There was an elite hand pass on the wing. Viney, I think it might have been, that released the Melbourne run. It was brilliant.
So going forward for Jack, that's his game.
Yeah.
In and under, get the ball, and then become the best handballer in the competition, or the best you can be.
Melbourne supporters in a minority, but they are a rowdy minority at the moment. Out of the middle, Collingwood has to go to work. To going deep for Elliott, May. The fist him, it mattered. McDonald, handheld. What a tackle from McStay. That's a way to get yourself back in. Oh, look to the umpire. Now they have their teammates to get around them. Just give a little handball away. Good grunt work from McStay. Guys, precarious in terms of a double chance.
Score's looking crooked. The live ladder's looking worse.
Yeah. On the throw. Gordon's tap. McVie, a territory taker. Houston, worried out of it by Chandler. It makes it Frampton's problem, and it's a big problem. Petty with a crunching tackle. Billy seems unaffected. Premiership forward that he is. Up and down on the spot. Gone. Straight to his direct opponent. Rivers got a hand in an important one. Petrarca, he did it once from a set shot. Is it Bailey Fritz or is it Maynard? Maynard takes the points. 7-14 Collingwood. How often has it been on the other side of the coin for Melbourne? Gaz, nod your head there.
Well, they've been the worst goal-kicking accuracy team in the competition for the year, and now it's just biting into Collingwood at the minute.
How often is it the critical number for all the stats we go through? The old phrase. And kicking from the throat. Petty. Houston. With the wraparound. Chan.
A lot of footy still to come, and a big test still here for Melbourne to close this out. They're going to have to work hard right through to the final siren.
There's still 16 long minutes to go if you're a Melbourne fan.
Well, they haven't exactly been in the habit of winning.
Great balance from Jason Dunstall. Oh, Sparrow. I'm going to hang on to that one. Salem tries to get the go-ahead kick. Can't. Crisp. And better luck with Myercheck. The brick wall couldn't have been closer. It was a disco brick wall.
He was sweating on him then. Sweating on him. Knew it was coming out. And then just nailed him.
Max Darcy. 2 hours ago, Collingwood was sitting fourth. Right now they've slipped to sixth, with Gold Coast leading Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. Rivers trying to find a way through. Oliver didn't take possession. Salem, sleight of hand. Scorn and McVie. Collingwood are going to get hold of it here. DeGoey, McCreary, Lipinski, Pendlebury. How they'd love a moment from the veteran. Kept his wits about him and found Schultz.
Yeah, it was an error from McVie. The moment that kick didn't clear all the Collingwood traffic, they had 3 or 4 players goal side of the stoppage, and they were off to the races.
Yeah, it's a good sign or a bad sign for Collingwood, depending on which way you want to look at it. They're all goal side here, every one of them, and once it got in the hands of Pendlebury, you knew it was going to end up with a shot at goal, but it was just taking the right option. Elliott had got out the back by 15 metres.
Lockie Schultz, 1 goal, 2, all in the opening term. It's his turn to test the accuracy. It's no good. You could hear the groans.
That was a horrible kick. If you're watching the kicker and not where the ball went, he was off balance. The ball drop was wrong.
So now they're going to have to deal with what's going on between the ears, the pies. Think about, gee, are we going to cough up a double chance?
Mate, what a kick in, straight to Gorn. Let's get numbers around it. Not really pull it out of there, though.
There has been a bit of inventiveness tonight, which has been good to see. That's a set play. Just bang it into the centre square and have Maxi Gorn come in at an angle. They haven't completed one yet, but it's been interesting to watch.
He's a good target, isn't he? House comes off the line. Defends well. Had good back up Sparrow. Oliver, Sparrow. Even up and down. Everyone had the intent to spoil. Dacos is handball straight back to Sparrow. Suddenly Collingwood have to defend again. Melksham, Plainer, rapid fire. Maynard, Pendlebury. Everything slows. Goes to Houston.
Houston brings it back into the middle. Quaynor. Side bottom wants it out on the members' wing. That's where the kick is going. Perryman trundles on ahead. Side bottom, books a hand pass, goes the kick out on the full. Each of these moments just adds to the anxiety.
Well, of all people still side bottom to do that, but what is happening here is the whole thing is opening up. The game is opening wide up at the moment, so I don't think Melbourne are going to go into their shell, so Collingwood has got to take their chances.
May and McDonald, neither of them got it to go 15. So long down the line, Perryman over the top comes Langford.
What they
How
do
the umpire pay this to Langford.
What they do have to do, the D's, is continue to attack, try and kick goals.
Pick it up to Fritz. Back to Pickett. Too cute. Quaynor saw it coming. Can Maynard find the way? Happy for the stoppage.
The best way for Melbourne to win this game is to kick another 2 goals. Yeah. Not get defensive and start to second guess all the things, the aggression that's actually got you here.
No, I don't think they will, guys. Why would you? You just keep going. There's no reason to go into a shell.
It's 2 the number, Jace, is all they need, 2 goals.
I think 2 more gets them home.
14-point lead in Melbourne's favour. Rucks went underneath it, long off the ground. This is an important ground ball. Viney and Nick Dacos. Nick went over the top of Viney and gave away the free kick, and we might give away 50 there.
Got to be 50.
Whistle sounded clearly.
And so gilt-edged opportunity here for the D's. Think your way through this, Jack Viney. What's the best option? Doesn't have to go inside 50.
And Ryan was loose at the 50. Viney's going to put it to the hot spot. See what they can get. Tully had a big fly, but Frampton controlled things well, and Tully's landed awkwardly.
He knocked himself out there. Sharp as the Sabres is getting up and called back in dispute.
Yeah, ultimately, the Viney kick, though, is exactly what Frampton wants.
Correct. Still go to the crisp, had lots of work, still in a hole. He's closing on Houston, got the release handball to Elliott, and they get moving again, flicking through centre half for Lipinski. Schultz is in close. Membry screaming for it deep. Here you go. He can't get it again, May. Just enough. And again, it just eludes the Magpie player in McCreary running to go.
Yeah, so he's coming off, and they might have a look at him. He had a good jump at it, but I've not seen.
Just landed on his head, on his face.
Oh, yeah, that's no good. So he'll get a test, I'm sure. I've not seen Collingwood not connect in the way they have. They've got them out everywhere here, just haven't been able to hit one.
Short throw in, and Royan followed it all the way through. And he was followed in turn by McCreary.
So the young fella's okay. That was a monster leap with a nasty landing.
And holding his back as well, Jason. So yes, hit his head on the ground, which we're having a look at now, as you can see, but also neck and lower back.
60,000 at the MCG on a Friday night. This was not supposed to be the storyline. Collingwood desperate for a goal. Van Rooyen, Dacos, McStay, Membry, side bottom. Who's it going to be? Ned Long to the square and beyond. It was Ned Long, unwanted by Hawthorn. Doesn't he belong at Collingwood? He's not giving up. We know the Magpies won't. Margin cuts to 8.
It's a massive goal, Jason. It is it's almost against the flow a little bit. Melbourne had some opportunity down the other end of the ground, and it bounced 5 metres out for a goal here. So how Melbourne didn't have protection on the line?
Well, it's Brody Myercheck playing in front of May that's able to keep him out, and the other Melbourne players were caught too close to the contest to do anything about it. They're in no man's land.
Yeah, so Langford, the winger, or the near side winger, is the one that normally sits back into that hole. So he should be another 10 metres back. It's a beautiful bounce from a Collingwood point of view, and 8 points is nothing for this mob.
You need a bit of luck.
You need a bit of luck, indeed.
Just Collingwood's second goal since half-time. Well, they've watched 6 go through to their opponents. Crowd trying to lift to the cause.
Crowd has come alive.
A second goal to grab some momentum. Gawn had other ideas, got stripped of it. Rivers over his head, so dangerous into space. It's coming back. Umpire has paid a free kick to Rivers.
It looked like it could have been a Collingwood free kick there for a minute.
Well, there's the Schultz. Brings it out to Salem, who could run right on it, half forward, and set it up deep. Pickett set himself in front. The ball went to the back instead.
See, that's a wasted opportunity. He's got Max Gawn there, and he kicks it over his head. Just chip that kick, Christian Salem. Just a 35-metre kick, and the Gawn takes a mark.
They're on the break. Crisp to half forward. Elliott sets himself again. Neither can take the mark. Ball continues on, close to the line, and it stays in. Still kept it in. He's had the required framework around it. Now a $1 million kick, and it pays off. Oliver Rivers. Van Rooyen holding his own. Safe hands, Pickett and Gawn are both 2 kicks away from this. So they have targets and they have Crummers. Petrarca knows just the way to get there. Chandler lined it all up. Off to Rivers, running hard. Misses.
Oh, Pickett was out in space had they kept going forward. Rivers has been huge this last quarter. Through the middle of the ground, he's had 7 touches, but look how wide this game's opened up now.
That is a good kick in for Frampton. McCreary's his target. Now, what's he got in the legs against Salem? McCreary gets to the back. He's got plenty. Has a look. Sets it up magnificently for Elliott.
I don't know who Stephen May's looking at, Gaz. He's looking around. He's got a man up, surely, first and foremost.
Well, it's all coming from the back half now. Melbourne can't stop Collingwood's ball movement. If they don't score, it's coming down the other end and they're having a shot, the Magpies.
He's kicked a goal and 2 posters. Jamie Elliott opens it up. There are goals left in this game. Collingwood snap back.
Well, you're sitting here and you're watching it unfold. So now, what have we got? 10 minutes of footy left on the clock. It's whoever can make the most of your opportunity because you're going to get a look. Melbourne will keep coming and Collingwood will keep counter-attacking. And if you can hit a target and be composed and skillful enough, then you'll score goals. There's plenty more left in this game. The opportunities will be there. Who's going to take them? And McCreary showed what he can do here.
Pies celebrating 112,000 members. They make up the majority of the 60,000 that are in the house.
So, hello, you're talking about run. So he told you 1 metre gain by Hamble in that third quarter. 60 already from a Collingwood point of view. So their running game is back and they've kicked the last 2 goals.
Elliott, their first multiple goal kicker. The Melbourne response with Gawn and Petrarca. Fritsch, well attended to by Perryman. No whistle. It's stuck underneath there somewhere.
Jai Cully's been subbed out with that contest and Harry Sharp's on for Melbourne.
Said back up again in motion. Gawn, Langford, Petrarca and Dacos. 2 of the modern greats. Petrarca turned and banged it deep. Pickett waiting, Van Rooyen leaping. Here comes Cozzy, just went too fast. Langdon. Oh, Van Rooyen!
Oh, opportunities, they just can't nail them.
It's changed. It's turned around the other end. So Elliott's now here off the ground. Elliott. May's got memory as a matchup. And Elliott's been picked up by Turner, I think. So that change has been made.
Pendlebury, the direct route is best. To go, he's going to send it through the middle. Schultz got out the back of Bowie. It's a big contest. Schultz gets going. Give them a look at an open forward setup. It's over the top of Elliott. Spoiled meaningfully by Turner.
But that's the pressure they're feeling. Turner could have taken the intercept mark. That basically would have been an uncontested mark. But the ball's coming down so quickly now and so freely. All of a sudden, the D's defence is under pressure.
7 times they've left their defensive 50. They've got inside 55 times.
They've gone down the middle nearly every time.
Collingwood full of doubt. Looking for the go-ahead goal. DeGoey just wants to go by Membry. McStay, not a great hand pass. McVie hacked it away. Pendlebury, away to Schultz. Outside of the boot, not enough. May dives in.
They look like they're hanging on to grim life, but there's 8.5 minutes to go here. They have to score. They have to be proactive, the D's.
So you have a look at the way Melbourne are exiting compared to...
Look at the way Sidebottom was ready for anything and just Shields, he wasn't sure. And at the last possible moment, he realised Stephen May issues the apology, but it's too late.
So they've just gone into their shell and this Collingwood pressure's now starting to suffocate. You start to make mistakes. There's no speed on the ball coming out of the back half. You compare it to the way Collingwood are transitioning. They look like they're a bit stunned here, Melbourne. And this side, Collingwood are preying on them.
Last kick from Lockie Schultz wasn't a good one.
Took a while to get used to the environment at Collingwood last year. But they're loving now the Magpie Army. Schultz shoots and scores. And the Magpies are back in front. Gilbert and Magpie mayhem around the G.
Well, what do you got? This is back to Melbourne. Collingwood are playing for everything. So they're playing for a top 4 spot and a potential double chance and a crack at a premiership. Melbourne season's over. What fight have they got now? They've put up a magnificent showing tonight. They've been terrific. But have they got anything left now?
Well, they need their leaders to stand up. Stephen May's been such a good defender, but the last 5 minutes, he lost Jamie Elliott guarding space, and then that one's just a really poor exit kick that goes straight to the opposition. Turnover goal.
Great response. Fantastic response when you've given up 2 goals, 15-point margin, and you've come back with the next 3.
His 5th shot for goal tonight.
It was a point on the King's birthday in Collingwood's favour. It is a point right now. Viney doing all the heavy lifting. Rivers got away somehow or other. Oliver feeds it to Salem. He's hot. He gets his kick away. Pickett charges up. And now Melbourne's turn to see if they can hold their nerve in front of goal.
Here's a good kick from Salem out in front of Cosy Pickett on the burst. Can he produce a 50-metre kick?
This was some desperation.
He just worked his way out.
He's kicked 2, Cosy Pickett. He has 40 for the season. It is a big, deep breath. Melbourne stuck in a sequence of behinds right now, and they have fallen behinds. It's a roost near side.
The last 3 opportunities, all gilt edge. They haven't been able to convert the Ds.
This is my favourite part of the live ladder. Watch it go to level here.
It's beside himself. This is the concern, and this is where Collingwood want it to be. Coming out of their back half, and look at the gaps that are opening up here now.
I don't think anyone anticipated a draw tonight. Jared's on a high. Dacos kicks to the wing. Goes beyond expectations, just like Melbourne tonight. Free kick, advantage, blink of an eye stuff. McCreary, Lipinski to Elliott on the bounce. What can he do? A handball, a Hollywood handball. McCreary overruns it. Now Langford, go Harvey, go. Gets the handball away, snatched back by McGoey. Kept his nerve. McCreary, like his mum said. Oh no, he's missed. Couldn't quite just kick goals. Highs in front. He's up to 64 on the live ladder. What drama.
What drama. It's the weird dynamic that surrounds the final round of a home and away season. Collingwood are living it all to the full at the moment. Bowie thumps it down the line, too strong. Pendlebury has it. 6 minutes to work with, and Magpies loose everywhere up ahead. Steele waved on by Sidebottom. McStay! At last!
Well, you keep putting it in there, you're going to get an opportunity at some stage, and McStay's been battling all night, but Pendlebury cuts him off at the halfway mark. You know he's not going to waste the possession.
Gee, they're getting him on turnover. The Ds, once they turn it over, they're flat-footed. They've given their all. They've stopped to a walk, and the Pies are full of running.
Dan McStay. It's been a torrid 6 weeks while the team has spiralled, but there's his moment. Collingwood have steadied. 4 in a row and a 7-point lead.
We've seen it all before. We have seen it all before. The composure and the want to continue to push from the back half here in this last quarter. It's just opened up. And then when it opens up, you've got to be good enough to take your chances. So here, ball in the hands of no one else on the ground. You want the ball in the hands of the centre wing. Makes the good decision, space everywhere. And then McStay finally clunks one. Gets Tommy McDonald caught up the ground, and he goes back. He's been good enough to kick it. It's the response of a team that's going into a finals campaign and just refuse to concede and yield. Just refuse to concede that a double chance had slipped through their fingers.
Back in the middle then. Melbourne has 5 minutes 23 and suddenly a 7-point deficit. Cameron's kick well read by Petrarca. There's an out-of-zone umpire paying a Melbourne free.
Maybe being a couple of kicks down will spur them into action, the Ds.
Gauns rush forward. Van Rooyen already there. Petty, Moore. Dacos grabbed it in the air. It was awkward. Viney pulled it away. Chandler. Oliver. Pendlebury. Toe-to-toe. Head-to-head. And the old fella has prevailed, Scott Pendlebury. What a start. Either end of the ground, either end of the match. Knows exactly what to do. From the old captain to the current. And Darcy Moore, whose dad on the ground though with both these clubs, sends it wide. 4:44 to go. Can the Magpies hold on from here?
Well, what they have to do is they have to start manning up. It's no good zoning off anymore. They can't allow uncontested chip marks. That's too easy for the Pies when you're a couple of kicks down.
Great kick.
Houston didn't get hold of it. Bowie had it. Houston stole it to the one-on-one. Elliott and May. Elliott looked for body contacts. May looked for the footy. That is a high-risk kick, but executed sufficiently well. Howes.
Totally just.
Yeah, but so it's Melbourne's turn to take some risk, like we've seen Collingwood doing.
Langford's the way out for May.
So they got the look in the middle of the ground. They got it covered.
Van Rooyen wants it up the line. That's where the kick is coming. And he takes a towering mark. Releases Fritz into a dead end. Got it away. Chandler, can he swing it over the top? Petty trying. They're running the gauntlet, the D's. Petrarca sweeping. Oh, what a tackle. What a ball and all tackle.
He had to time it beautifully, Big Darcy Cameron, and he did.
Yeah, Harry Sharp's just come onto the ground. He hasn't picked up the pace of the game yet. It's a rude introduction. If he had the presence of mind to tap that ball, they run into an open one. But it's so hard to do when you just come on.
They knocked the stuffing out of each other.
They did, Jared. It was a hit and a half from the big man. What coverage from your ruckman late in the fourth quarter.
Trainer's out with Cameron. You can't have the trainer in the stoppage.
Not when he's going up the ruck.
So no room to spare for the Pies here. Petrarca threatened, got the kick away. Get the direction.
What's a draw mean for you? All of your mathematical work.
Well, they do have a good percentage break on Brisbane, Collingwood, so they enter a different race.
Get back to you, guys.
It works for Collingwood, the draw.
It works for you too.
Played so nicely together all year. Pendlebury comes away, out to the wing, Gorn. Membry, Langford, Fritz, Max on the run. What a mad Max.
He's had a couple of moments against Collingwood when the margin's been less, or a goal or less.
Is that better or worse than his kick on King's birthday?
No, they're still in it, the Demons. They're still there. Collingwood from the back half have been so good.
Houston only knows one way, and it is long and strong to Elliott with his jump, but couldn't impact. Elliott keeps a clear head. No need to rush now for the Magpies. It looks like they're going to go into full possession mode. Maynard 2:57 with a lead of 6 points to manage. Short to Dacos.
So if you haven't got an opponent, you better find one if you're a Melbourne player.
Don't underestimate that mark from Jamie Elliott down the line there.
Turn up, can't complete it. Side bottom. Smashed it as far as he can. Langford eyeing off Myercheck and the footy. Tries to keep it in, succeeds. High ball. Perry eyes for it only. Close to the lot. And over.
Well, did what he had to do, Chris Petrarca. He was 1 against 2. That's actually a good result for the D's.
Max, Darcy. 1 goal margin, 2:17 to play.
Darcy Moore deep on his own. So in the inside defensive 50 on his own.
So many implications in what's about to unfold. Gorn released to Pickett and got the free kick. So Melbourne are free to go. Langford kicks it up. Moore's the spare. Made the spoil. Chandler's after it underneath. Tossed it up to full forward. Petty! Almost. Not quite. Knocked away. Langdon. The contacts. It's not all that he might have hoped for. And it kept getting further and further away.
They keep creating opportunities, and just when they've needed them in the fourth quarter, they haven't been able to take them.
It remains tantalising. 6 points the margin now. A minute 43. Crisp. Sparrow sensed the opportunity, took it. Gorn marches forward. Kick it to him. Now he goes longer. To the big pack, Petty. Deep down there. Pickett, the ultimate danger. And we will have a ball up. The tension builds even further.
No luck with that long ball in all night. They're hoping someone can grab one.
They just won't kick it to Max Gawn. One-on-one.
Maybe Gawn can create it in the rucks. Pickett on the move. Was it high? Quaynor stuck the tackle. Nick Dacos flung it away. Hit over the footy. Mychek. Same for McDonald. It's a desperate scrouge.
So Stephen May's the only player behind the ball. Collingwood have got 17 players in their defensive 50 effectively.
Cameron out the side. Oliver. They'll do it from a throw in now. Maybe with a little bit more space. 61 seconds. It's Collingwood's worst result, a draw. Melbourne have put the frighteners at them in this second half. Collingwood has responded. Oliver dragged off it. Goes again. Nick Dacos fed it out. Josh takes the territory up the line. How the umpire said it should be insufficient intent, and it is.
Look how quickly the Flyers are manning up, trying to stop the square up into the corridor.
48 seconds left in Melbourne's season. Long from McDonald. Sparrow makes the contact. Pickett. Random ball. 30 metres out. We wait and watch. Maynard grabbed it. Prevails. Gave it to Cameron. High ball. Crisp. Enough for now. Jack Crisp takes the mark. Has the crisis been averted? Collingwood came here to win. They wanted to win big, but the 4 points gives them a shot.
So Quaynor takes the territory. They all present. McDonald, he has to fling it in. Petrarca tried to find the way through. They've been belly at the knees, but the last tackle sees them off. Collingwood has done nothing less than salvaged its premiership mission, the value of which will take until Wednesday to figure out. The free fall halted, the double chance still in play. The Pies might yet be the team to beat. From 15 points down, they kick the last 4 goals.
It's a courageous win, Jared. As you say, you're 3 kicks down seasonally, your top 4 spots slipping away. Melbourne had opportunities, couldn't take them, and then Collingwood started to take some risks in transferring the ball from deep in defence. Kick-outs went down the middle. They isolated space and players that they could kick the advantage of, and when they needed to convert, they were able to in that 4th term. Conversely, the supply and the accuracy dried up for the D's. Great to see Mark Williams going over congratulating Craig McRae, and as gallant as they were, the D's, that's twice this year against the Pies, they've come up empty-handed.
Brad Johnson downstairs.
Jared, well, you're smiling now, Pendles, but I'm sure during that last quarter, there would have been a lot of stress out on the ground.
Probably the last quarter felt the most at ease because we were just going for it, and let the shackles go a little bit. And clearly we're lacking a bit of connection when we're going inside 50 at the moment. So glad we got 2 weeks to iron those issues out.
And is that what it is at the moment? What are the Oppo doing to you just in these recent weeks that are just asking more questions of you?
Well, I think it's our connection, just making the right choice, whether it's a handball or by foot. We had 6 goals 10 or something like that, or 2 goals 7 at quarter time. So we've got to be able to put score on the board. And but yeah, as I said, we've got 2 weeks to work on it.
Your role in that last quarter was outstanding, Pendles. You got yourself behind the ball. You kicked out 3 or 4 times, but just the way you were able to control things yourself and use that leadership to get the boys in the right spot to score.
Yeah, I should have played on from kicking, shouldn't I? You get a stat for that. That's the stat pad. But tried something different. Nick was through the midfield and Josh, so went to half back and just tried to play part of the system. I thought the boys back there were fantastic.
And had to do it hard, especially with Bo McCreary down. He was so courageous tonight in regards to what he was able to do with the injuries got to his ankle, and Jeremy Howe, of course, so down in rotations, huge win.
Yeah, especially Bo in the last quarter, like some of his efforts, with a pretty badly rolled ankle. So He'll be sore tomorrow, but I thought he was crucial with some of his speed and pressure in the last.
No time to take a breath, though, now. I suppose it's just thoughts to what is going to happen over the next couple of weeks, but I'm sure you'll keep an eye on the remainder of the round to see where you land.
Yeah, we'll probably take a bit of a breath, to be honest, John. I think we need to take a breath, relax, and have a good week on the track this week, freshen up and get ready for that first final, wherever it is.
Well done tonight. Well done on the season. Onwards to September.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Well done, mate.
A 16-win season. 10 points clear atop the table. It was so well recounted. Lost 5 out of 6, and halfway through the last quarter, it looked 6 out of 7 and bound for an away elimination final. And instead, there they sit in 3rd place.
But let me ask you a question, Jared. Are you any clearer as to where Collingwood sit in terms of their game?
No, but if they make the top 4, they are the sort of team who could, with the break, gather themselves with all the experience that they do have.
Well, they had to gather themselves in the last quarter, and it was a big gather. It was critical. They had to dig themselves out of a hole.
Well, obviously it depends on the other results, but they didn't get the percentage first thereafter, so you'd have to think the top 4 is going to be difficult for them.
They're still a sitting duck, aren't they?
Yeah.
Either Brisbane or Hawthorn wins.
So one of them go ahead, and then it's the Gold Coast Suns need to get the 2 wins and the percentage boost, and that will demote the Magpies to 5th.
Well, you've just flattened a whole lot of people right in the emotion of it all.
Still going to happen, at least they got the win, because that was looking unlikely for quite a while tonight. And sometimes it's just a gritty win, even though it's not against the highest of quality of opponents, with the greatest respect to Melbourne, that can help them turn the corner. Just rediscover the joy and the ability to win the tight ones.
Can you see enough traces of their form, Jason?
Well, we only saw glimpses. I love the way they threw caution to the wind in the last quarter, the way they moved the football, but I still keep coming back to when you play a good team and there's no Jeremy Howe, it's going to be a test. So his injury and how bad it is, a lot's going to ride on that.
That week off before the finals always plays a big role, doesn't it? So September.
Let's hope he's okay. We want all the best players on the big stage in September.
He's pivotal to their back half. They managed without him, but only just, didn't they, in that second half?
Yep.
You can see the belief growing. What a 3rd quarter from Melbourne. What an advertisement for the respective coach for Melbourne.
Well, there was a lot to like, and there's probably a lot of D's fans going, why haven't we played like this more often this year? They took the game on. That was the clear message from the stand-in coach. He said, handball, play on, go quick. And it worked. It put the opposition under the pump. Now, they made some errors doing it, but it looks good at times.
5 goals to 1 in that 3rd term, but then Collingwood 4 goals to 1 in the final quarter. And for all that Melbourne did is, in the last 15 minutes, they just bombed the ball to the top of the square.
Which hasn't worked all night.
And it hadn't worked for 5 years.
It was the scrubby kicks, the miss-hit kicks, or the kicks to isolation where you can get one player one out in a one-on-one or on the lead that worked for them. But all the long kicks to backs got mucked up by superior numbers, if not intercept marked.
The kind of forward line, which the big guys didn't function last week, and know a little better tonight, but that's still a question mark, isn't it? 2 goals 2 to Jamie Elliott, 2 goals 3 to Lachie Schultz. Their main sources of scoring tonight, so that still remains a question.
So the other thing that really stood out tonight, I think, and Scott Pendlebury mentioned it when he was talking to Brad Johnson, the critical times that Beau McCreary got the ball and had the pace to break away and drive the ball forward is a pace that they don't have naturally in that team, and they need him.
He had 8 scoring involvements tonight, Beau McCreary. As did Jordan McGowan, so he's ended up with 26 disposals, so yeah. And there's some lovely scenes from Tim Membry, his 200th game, and you'd think his career could well have been over last year when his run ended with the Saints, but there he is, about to have a campaign into September, knowing he's a 200 gamer and a new lease on his football life. So well played, Tim Membry.
So Collingwood fans have been through the ringer. They'll celebrate with the song. Gaz will chat to Craig McRae, and then they'll flick across and start barracking for Port Adelaide. Gold Coast is 7 points in front halfway through the 3rd quarter.
Oh, that's a tight one too.
I didn't think of letting them wear the prison pass tonight for that.
Maybe for the last quarter, they might get the message from them in. has a lot to absorb. If they do end up in 5th, they'll be back here hosting at the MCG.
Yeah.
Could finish up 4th back in Adelaide.
Yeah.
Those are probably the 2 most likely scenarios for them from here.
We know from last year that it is possible to come from outside the top 4. Brisbane showed us how.
Particularly if we can get a couple here at the G on the way through, if the draw falls their way. Good long look over the edge of the cliff and pull themselves back.
Side by side they are after a 6-point win.
They are not to be denied, this Collingwood Football Club. Christian Petrarca kicks the first goal of the last quarter. The margin gets to 15 points, and all of a sudden that top 4 spot is looking very, very shaky indeed. But as we've seen many, many times, they responded and kicked the next 4 goals and won by 6 points. Nice to be down the winners' room, Nathan Buckley and Jordan Lewis.
It is. That was a familiar song. It was good. It's that was a close call for the Pies. They did remarkably well to get through, but the Demons, I thought the effort was huge, and geez, they had to find something in the end there.
I must say, for a long period of time, it thought we'd be in the other rooms, Gaz. But I mean, you've got to commend this Collingwood football side. I'm interested to speak to Craig McRae about, did he learn anything tonight? Because certainly that 4th term, once the game opened up, they really, attacked the corridor, made really good decisions. A couple of big moments where players stood up, but I think that's probably exactly the game on the eve of a final to be tested that they needed.
Stay with us. The coach will join us. We'll grab whoever we possibly can on the way through, because it's a really big result for the football club. I mean, you've got to admire them. You've got to admire them. And we'll have a look at these quarter 4 moments right now. When Petrarca kicks that first goal and it gets to 15 points, then you can be excused for going into your shell and thinking, no, it's not going to happen for us. But they don't. And as Jordan just alluded to, it opened up and they made good choices. When this happened, I thought it was going to be not a great night for Collingwood.
No, well, there was no doubt. Melbourne had done enough to give themselves that opportunity to be 2.5 goals up. And there's no doubt that it definitely looked like Melbourne were going to be able to hold on. Collingwood were getting the ball end to end, but not able to hit that last kick. So the fact that they were able to find their mojo at the end, and I thought Scott Penderby to go back to that back 6, and he controlled and patrolled that half-back line, and was a big part of the reason for Collingwood's end-to-end use.
Yeah, great decision maker. I mean, when the ball gets in his hands as a Collingwood supporter, I imagine you just let out and take up a big sigh, because you know it's going to end up in a better place. And then the opportunities were missed. I mean, this game could have been put to bed arguably at quarter time, and it sat on their shoulder for a little while until they were able to take the opportunity that presented itself.
I think the other thing that, when you watch that last quarter is patience. They didn't seem desperate, and certainly from Pendle's kicking in, he really held his nerve a lot and waited for all the other parts further down the field to open up. Dacos popped into the middle, then he made that decision. Then it just parted certainly in the middle of the ground. So when you are coming from such a big deficit, you don't want to try and win that back in the first 5 minutes. They took all 29, 30 minutes to peak that lead back, and that showed great composure, showed great leadership. Elliott hitting really crucial goals when it mattered, but Pendles was the man that sort of orchestrated all of that.
Yeah, and there were opportunities going back the other way as well that weren't taken, and arguably in the last quarter, Melbourne were very similar to what Collingwood were in the first. So it evens itself out in the end, but you've got to take your chances when they present themselves, and we've seen Collingwood do this over and over and over. And they are to be admired because the excuse was there for them. They got too big for them.
And they were challenged. And I think the hardest thing coming up against a side who finished their night tonight was the unpredictable nature in which the way they were going to play. So, that was evident early that they wanted to challenge them through the corridor, and they got through. Collingwood got turnovers on the back of that. So it wasn't a familiar Melbourne that Collingwood would have planned for. So I think, and we'll speak to Craig McRae, how pleased was he with the team and the coaching staff to actually understand what was going on throughout the game, rectify that and get themselves a win.
So they take a deep breath here. This is the dying moments where they were just thought we didn't squeeze that out.
They threw everyone forward. Collingwood had numbers back and Melbourne decided to equalise forward of the ball, but just once again, probably a little bit of composure going inside forward 50, but Collingwood defended the areas that were most dangerous, and they were desperate. This instance right here.
All the key moments late were won by Collingwood
this
players.
Mark here.
And it was the flip side. The first half of that quarter was Melbourne taking advantage of their chances and Collingwood not, and then it flipped. So, as you said, I thought the patience of Collingwood and the composure of Collingwood was very important. Yes, we have seen that a lot, Gaz, but not in recent times. So it would be tremendously encouraging for them to be able to get out of the spot that they put themselves in, or that Melbourne put them in, and then to be able to take that win 2 weeks into the first final, sit back and have a look how the rest of this round plays out and understand exactly where they go after this.
So we're down here in the Collingwood rooms. The coach is going to join us shortly whenever he's finished with what he needs to do at the moment. We just give you some sort of sense of what it's like down here. It is not by any stretch over the top. It's very controlled. It's obviously maybe a touch of relief mixed in with the emotion of winning and qualifying for another final series and a crack at a premiership, but it's not over the top. I mean, they've got much bigger fish to fry, this Collingwood Footy Club right now, and they seem to be in pretty good shape to do it.
Well, we currently sit third on the ladder. As it stands, we understand that there's a little bit more to play out, so that's all they could have done tonight. I think the other thing is you understand the way that Melbourne played, so maybe that is a little bit of not a blueprint, but options that might take this side forward. They show great composure. They showed the ability to move the ball through hand and foot. So it was an exciting game to watch, to be honest.
No, it's a really good game
from both sides.
Well, we'll touch on Melbourne, I'm sure. That's as good as they've moved the footy for a long, long time in terms of, particularly by hand. I thought their handball game was as creative as it's been for a while. So that tests Collingwood even more, and as you said, holds them in good stead for the challenges ahead.
The irony is, since round 10, Melbourne have been the third best team at being able to move from their D50 to their forward 50, or actually scoring from there. So they've actually they've done that extremely well. And you can see the changes that were attempted to be implemented that have been, they've basically been, exemplified even further since Simon Goodwin has left the club. In the last 3 weeks, it's all caution to the breeze, to the wind. So the fact that they've been able to take it on, they've got nothing to lose, and you still need to be able to play with real dare in your offence when there's something on the line, and that's the challenge for Melbourne.
Just padding a bit for the coach. So we'll talk about Melbourne, and Craig McRae will join us. So the positives, Oliver, I thought was as good as he's been for a long, long time.
Drove his legs out of stoppage, which I don't think you're right. And he drove his legs out of stoppage. Petrarca drove his legs out of stoppage.
Rivers from the middle.
Rivers drove his legs out of stoppage. So they got better looks. They took ground with their feet further afield, which gave their forwards a few options. So you're right, we haven't seen that type of movement in and around stoppages for a while. I thought Gawn's tap work was pretty good. It was a great duel between he and the big fella who's about to join us. So
come in here, Daz. Come in here, son.
We're just waiting for someone to show up.
Well done, first of all.
Thank you. Yeah, it was another close one against the D's.
The big tackle right at the end too. You timed that beautifully.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad to be able to secure it.
A bit dusty there?
Huh? Not the wind out of me. Yeah, it was.
What about the battle with Max? Like both of you were trying to, like one of you were down the line defensively, and offensively you were trying to get used to the centre corridor. Pretty much had identical tactics, but on flip side of the ball.
Yeah, I feel like in that, or for a lot of the game, we're just kicking it towards him, and he just dukes everything. So just trying to train up the tactic, take him away from the line of ball, and get really aggressive on him. If he didn't come with me, he'd go to me. But it was a really good battle. He's a freak of nature. He's such a good player.
It's the old school midfield, shake hands at the start of the game and then disappear. I think watching the game, you were certainly tested, and it was probably an unpredictable Melbourne side, especially the way that they moved the ball so aggressively. Then you take it to the last quarter, the calmness out there was evident.
Yeah, definitely. We've always got full belief in our system and our fight. For 4 quarters, and I'm so glad we were able to bring it in that last quarter. Probably wasn't there for the full 4 quarters, but credit to Melbourne, they really turned up tonight, and they don't really have much to play for at this time of the year, but they really put on 4-quarter effort.
How difficult was it to defend their ball movement? I mean, this was a really aggressive Melbourne side that tried to bring it back into the corridor, which on the back of that gave you guys some opportunities, especially centre forward.
Yeah, I think it was tough for us in moments, but I think we tidied it up late in that game, and we'll look at it throughout the week and how we can do it better. But I'm super proud of the boys tonight.
What about as the last quarter progressed? The time was running away and you weren't eating into that score. You had a couple of opportunities and didn't take them, but the ground looked huge. Like in that last 10 minutes, the ground looked big. Scott Pendlebury went back behind the ball and just seemed to steady the ship and give you I suppose, the composure that you were looking for.
Yeah, time and time again, he just does that, doesn't he? He's so smart back there, and I'm pretty sure he put himself there. He's just, he puts himself in those moments. He sees the game so well, and he was able to change our ball movement. He sees things that we don't.
What are you capable of, big fella? You've been there before, you know what it takes. What do you think about this current iteration?
We're capable of anything, but I'm just going to enjoy this right now. I don't want to look too far ahead. Probably need some results to go our way to sneak in the top 4, but if we don't, we've got full belief that we can do it the hard way.
What is the next? Have they told you what the next couple of weeks look like with the bye? You've been there before. What works for you?
I think we got the next 3 days off. We'll go support the VFL boys. They got a big final or play in a big park. So if you're around, get down there and support the boys. And then just put the feet up for a couple of days, recover, and look forward to what's to come.
We'll let you go, mate. Congratulations. It's a fantastic win and good luck for September.
Cheers.
Well done on the new deal, mate.
Darcy Cameron there, who's his battle with Max Gorn was interesting. I think the coach has wandered out here. He's just talking to Ralphie. Ralphie, we would like him on air. Thank you very much. Good boy, mate. Get in here.
Well, mate. Good job, mate. Well done. Thanks, mate.
Deep breath. Been there before. Get any easier?
No, it's good to win a close one, though. We haven't won one for a while.
That's true.
It's an amazing fight there. I can't wait to watch the replay of that. Just the last moments of the spoils, the fighting, the scrapping. Darcy Cameron's tackling in the last seconds. Those things we'll hang on to those things.
Really, they're important to see, aren't they? Obviously, to get the job done first and foremost. But showing them, it sort of can light a fire on you going into September.
We talk about it all the time. The fingernail stuff or the moment that someone needs to stand up and. There'll be plenty in that last quarter. I just felt like, particularly at 3-quarter time, I just felt like we're just playing so boring, like chick mark, kick it down the line, loose contests. And I felt if we can get some chaos in the game, that would really serve us well. And a bit of luck here and there.
How hard was the game to coach? It was clearly an aggressive Melbourne that came out, and probably an unpredictable. They hadn't really shown that all year. How hard was it to coach through that?
We were sort of, I don't like saying nothing to play for because everyone has something to play for, but there is we might have said it yesterday, just a dangerous team that are prepared to take more risk than they normally do. So I'm not really credit to them. I thought they played really, really well. But I'm not sort of concerned too much about what they were doing. It's more about what we're going to do going forward. What do we learn from that?
Yeah. What did you learn? I mean, it propelled your front half game.
Yeah. I think we're a really dangerous team when we move the ball faster. With the right balance.
The ground was, I just spoke to Darcy about it, the ground was massive in that last, pretty much got bigger and bigger and bigger. There was so much space through the midfield. Pendles just seemed to be able to find the right
It's a defender's nightmare, Bucks, isn't it, when the ground's like that?
And you were going end-to-end that well.
Yeah. Look, the GPS was pretty high and the rotation was a bit low because a couple of Howie and Bo for a bit. So I knew in the third quarter we were gassing it. Like, Jared Way goes, it's probably our highest GPS for the year and we haven't had many rotations, so I was aware of that. But, there comes a time we just got to go for it,
Bo McCreary was off for quite a bit at that third quarter, but then come on and had a tremendous impact. You're a bit concerned about him for a bit?
He got stomped on. And at that stage it was sort of pretty sore to move. So that's what I've been told anyway. He's so important, isn't he? He comes on with his speed and his pressure, so I think he's going to be okay.
Timing's everything. As you said that, he hobbled straight past you behind you. you had 1 metre gain by hand in that third quarter, which talks to what you're saying. It's stagnant, not really getting the ball going. And the response was something I think you'd look back on and go, yeah, it's still there.
Again, it's about sort of putting yourself in a position. This is all about qualifying. I've said it all year. We've had 16 wins. I think at the start of the year we'd be okay with that, wouldn't we? And we put ourselves in a chance. Now I don't know where we land. Again, we've got work to do. We're not naive to that, but it's a completely different game now, and we know that. And now it becomes match play, doesn't it?
So, Jeremy Howe, so pivotal. We all know, everyone, we watch it. So early diagnosis, your prognosis, what do you think?
A groin adductor or something, I'm not sure. We've got time, which those things can heal. I don't know the severity of it, so I don't know. But
I thought the response from your back half was great. Darcy's big spoil in the first minute of that last quarter, where he's right inside the jumper, and then Maynard wins one over Melksham. I thought their response was great.
Billy Frampton was huge for us tonight. Intercept possessions. It's all that stuff that, again, we'll go back to the tape and, hey, boys, this is the basis of our game.
It's been a long home and away season. You're right. You qualify now. How excited are you to now get into the stuff that not that the stuff doesn't matter, but the stuff that really matters?
I don't know. I think all of us sort of we had 14 wins a long way out. And back in the day, 14 was enough. Not this year. It's been a crazy year. We know that this time is a different game. I'm really excited for it. Our fans should be excited. We're going to put ourselves in a big position to go as far as we can. We've got a pulse, and as long as we've got a pulse,
112,000 members should help.
Well, you don't know where you're going to land now, but that's all sort of sit at home and watch where we land now.
We'll let you go. Just talk us through the next week. There's a weekend off, obviously. What's it look like, and then what's the build like?
We always, in my time, we've reset ourselves midweek and then reset the theme for the finals, and we're actually going to do it in here, funnily enough, and because it's a whole new season. It is. It's a completely different season. Lee Matthews used to say you don't have to be the best team all year, you just got to be the best team for the next 3 or 4 weeks. So if we finish top 4, you win one final, you're in a prelim, you win 2, you're in a grand final, you win 3, you're premiers. So it's as
simple as that.
It's as close as we are.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Cheers.
It's a great effort. Now, I'm being talked.
All right, there we go, folks. I tell you what, the Magpies, they got it done. Paul, if you're still there, go Pies. There we go, 11-16, 82. Melbourne 11-10, 76. The Pies by a goal. I tell you what a fantastic last quarter. It was nail-biting effort, absolutely. The Magpies putting on 4 goals, 3 in that final term. Melbourne 1 goal 5. There we go, awkward kicking. Tell you what, more good news for Collingwood. Let me just have a check. There we go. Over at Adelaide Oval, it's Port Adelaide 8-10-58 at 3/4 time, leading the Gold Coast Suns 7-10-58. Before we go any further, that is the live ladder, folks. That is the live ladder. Collingwood now sits in 3rd spot. Tell you what, could they remain in the top 4? I tell you what, if Port Adelaide win, if they beat the Gold Coast Suns, I'm pretty sure Collingwood will remain in the top 4 because Brisbane Hawthorn play. I don't think the GWS Giants will get that big a margin to get over 7% to get up over there, and the percentage of course, Freo is too low. So if Port Adelaide win, Collingwood should be top 4, finish top 4. So that'll be absolutely a ring-a-ding-ding fantastic. They'll end up probably 4th, and they'll play the Adelaide Crows in the first week of the finals, which is good news because Isaac Ranke is out. And of course, should have just about won on the other day, Paul. There we go. Port in front, Doggies in the 8th. Yeah, exactly right. That's what I was saying, Adrian, before. If Gold Coast lose their next 2 games, then Fremantle will be in the 8. But, that being said, Gold Coast play... That's what I was saying, this is a little bit tricky. I tipped Port Adelaide tonight in that game. Gold Coast travelling, going, of course, they've got to travel. They've got to play again next Wednesday night against Essendon. Of course, a lot easier opposition, but been on the road for a little bit. A couple of away games, Gold Coast. Maybe they'll just let it slip. Maybe there could be a big upset with Essendon winning next Wednesday night. That'll be very, very interesting game. So if that is the case and it all stays away there, then the top 8 is set. But if the Gold Coast win against Essendon, then it will probably all come down to the Fremantle Western Bulldogs. Whoever loses that will be out of the 8. So that'll be interesting. But great news, Collingwood inside the top 4. They're sitting 3rd. And as I said, over at the other game there, it is Port Adelaide leading by 1 goal, 3/4 time. Tell you what, Paul, we are cheering on Port Adelaide because we don't want the Suns. If the Suns happen to win this game and the next game, then Collingwood could probably drop down to 5th spot, which is not really good because then we'll either play, well, there's a possibility we could either play Fremantle. Although it wouldn't be so bad playing Fremantle over here, but the double chance would be good because I think we'll be in for a really good shot against the Adelaide Crows, especially with Ranky out now. So that is fantastic news. Should end up fourth. Yeah, I think it'll be Adelaide, Geelong. I'm actually tipping Hawthorn to topple Brisbane. So I think that'll be Adelaide, Geelong, Hawthorn, Collingwood. I think that's going to be the top 4. As I said, all depends on the game playing right now, Port Adelaide and the Gold Coast. Just having a look at the stats before we wrap this up. Bailey Fritsch ended up with 3, tops the table out there. Of course, from Melbourne, Kaiser Pickett, Melcham with 2, Jacob Van Roon with 1, Petty, Petrarca, Langford also scored 1 for Melbourne. For the Maggies, Lockie Schultz, Jamie Elliott ended up with 2. Tell you what, Jamie Elliott had a fantastic game. He only kicked 2 goals too, but I tell you what, half the time they were bombing it in. Of course, Stephen May was his opponent. He's just a bit tall. He was fantastic out on the run, out on the leads, covered a lot of ground, Jamie Elliott. So he actually had a pretty good game. Still side bottom, my check, McStay, Maynard, Ned Long, the Goey and Crisp all in there with a single goal as well. The ball magnets out on the ground. There we go. Clayton Oliver actually had a reasonably good game there for a change for Chow Paul. Hey, we'll catch you. We'll catch you next time. We'll probably do a game. I'm not sure if I'll do any games tomorrow. Maybe one. I'm not sure whether I'll do the Geelong-Richmond one or I'll cover a couple of games on Sunday. So Sunday's games definitely Western Bulldogs Freo and of course Brisbane Lions Hawthorn. They're going to be ring-a-ding-ding games. They should be absolutely fantastic. And then of course the final home and away game will be next Wednesday, Gold Coast taking on Essendon. That is that extra game that I didn't get to play in opening round due to the cyclone up there in Queensland. Petrarca, 28, was fantastic as well. Salem, 27. Nick Dacos, best for the Maggies on 27. DeGoey, next best. 26 there. Of course, a lot of Melbourne players topping the table on the stats. As I said, Melbourne, they played really good football. If they can play that for the next season, they'll certainly climb the ladder and give themselves a chance, to be somewhere around the top 8 anyway. There we go. Scotty Pendlebury, what's that word? I can't remember. Instrumental in that last quarter, just directing traffic. The man of composure, Scotty Pendlebury, in that final term there. All right, there are some of your stats. I'll just roll down those slowly. There we go. And we'll just wrap up with the team stats there. All right, just have a look at the team stats. I tell you what, Melbourne ended up about 50, plus 50 in the team stats. Inside 50s, Melbourne got on top. They were inside 50 plus 3 more times than the Maggies, 55 to 52. Disposal efficiency was really good for both teams at 74, 76. Even the efficiency inside, pretty good for the Pies, 53. Not too bad for the Ds on 40. Free kicks, umpires had a bit of a field day there, 22, 23. All pretty even. The hitouts ended up even. The clearances, Demons got on top. They were plus 8. I tell you what, the Demons, I was watching this. The Demons absolutely smashed the Maggies out of the centre. This is one area that the Magpies need to fix. I'm pretty sure this was about 8-4. 8-4 at half time. So it was 1-10. The Melbourne absolutely smashed the Maggies in the second half. 10-1 in the clearances out of the centre. They were fantastic. Fantastic there. Stoppage clearances also plus 7 there. Contested, tell you what, they were good, Melbourne. They were good. They were in front on a lot of the numbers, just not on the scoreboard. Plus 28 in contested possessions. They'll be certainly happy with that. The marks, there we go, just plus 13 to the Maggies. 19, I tell you what, that's a lot of marks for both teams. 19 marks for the Pies inside their forward 50, 10 to the Demons, both teams. Well, the game sort of opened up, certainly in that last quarter, so that was really good. The tackle count as I stated earlier on at half-time, these numbers are really low for these teams. They need to lift. Collingwood going into a final series now. This pressure needs to lift. As we all know, folks, finals are a different kettle of fish. It is pressure, pressure, pressure. They need to lift big. There we go. 9-6 tackles inside forward 50. And as we just go back to that ladder, there is your live ladder, of course. It is 3 minutes into the final quarter over there at Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide still lead 10-58 to the Gold Coast Suns, 7-10-52. Still a 1-goal margin game over there. Let's go Port. We're all cheering for Port. Everyone in the top 8 is cheering for Port. That is for sure, especially these teams around here. All right, folks, that is all. Thanks, everyone, for coming in. The poll got it right. 76% went for Collingwood tonight. They just got the job done. I tell you what, having a look at that worm, it certainly did ebb and flow. Pies jumped out to a lead. Melbourne got the lead back in the second quarter. Pies ended up in front at half-time. Melbourne, with a reasonably good lead at three-quarter time, kicked the first goal in the final quarter, but then the Magpies put the pedal to the metal. I tell you what, it was anyone's game, folks. It was anyone's game up until the final minute. So it was good to see the Maggies finally getting a close one in hand. All right, folks. Hey, thanks all for coming in. I'm not sure, as I said, I'm not sure whether I'll do a game tomorrow or not, but if not, I'll certainly be back on Sunday for 2 epic games that's going to make a big change to the ladder and where all teams sit. Of course, that's Western Bulldogs Freo and Brisbane versus Hawthorn. I think they might be the next 2 games we cover. You never know. I might do Richmond Geelong. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow. All right, folks. Hey, that's all I got for this one. Thanks, everyone, for coming in. Until the next time, ciao for now. We'll see you at the next game.